Wide open Torrence. Oh, baby, touchdown. How do you leave the best receiver in the NAIA that wide open? You show, and that's what we do. Cat.
You're proud of me?
And it's caught! Oh my goodness! Troy Torrence comes down with it!
Welcome all to Bankroll Blitz. It is week 6 here of the NFL season. I'm joined alongside my co-host, the star of this show, Mr. Troy Torrence. Troy, it was a roller coaster ride of a week for both of us. For me, record-wise, not very good. 6-8 minus 2.28 units, but my biggest bet of the year was on the Commanders. So it was financially a very good week, but record-wise, not as good as I would have liked. How are you doing, my friend?
See, that's why you got to make a little exception, a little consideration, especially in a sport like NFL, where you have all week to plan things out, to look at things. Not all bets are really created equal. I feel like you should have that conviction that you had in the Commanders reflected in your record. It's unfortunate you didn't. I know you disagree.
It complicates things because I track, 45 cappers that are on the channel.
Yeah.
So it does complicate things.
Yeah, I feel you.
Painstaking.
I definitely feel you on that.
But it was a successful week, although my record doesn't quite indicate it. I'm pumped up. I'm ready to attack this card.
And my record is the exact opposite because I was moving live on some of these spots. Really, I'm up a little over 6 units on the season, but obviously live bets aren't track here. But yeah, so I feel that.
Your record is strong, though, here as over the course of the season. We have made a lot of bets. We've invested a lot of money in this season thus far. Thank you guys all for joining us. We got Dutch Boy, Fresh, Gerald Jones, Ziggy Balls, Mike 21, D Jenkins, Peanut, Dougie Wise, Ken Wood, Irish King, Terry Walker, Morgan Spooner, Old E. Londo. Great to see all of you guys. I'm excited about the show ahead and the action that I will be betting here shortly. There was 2 games I wanted to add that I didn't bet. I felt like I was just kind of stressing getting everything prepared properly for the show. We have Birdie in the house. Great to see you. So the week for me, 6-8 minus 2.28 units. Cleveland +4 was a push. Thursday started poorly, lost the first half under in San Francisco, LA Rams under 23.5, and the full game under 46.5. The Saints was our what I said was the second best bet on the board. Obviously, throughout the capping of the week, the Commanders became the best, but at that time of our Tuesday show, I thought Seattle was the best bet on the board. That was a loser, but I did make good money off the Saints, cashed the money line, then cashed the double result at +180.
I was jealous that you were cashing that bet.
Now we won a turnover battle 5-0, and so I mean we got the bounces in a game which we don't get enough. So Seattle though -3 was a loser, Kansas City -3 was a loser, and Seattle Kansas City parlay was a loser. The Jets +2.5 was horrific. The Raiders +7 -115 was as horrific. Then the Panthers cashed. Detroit, Cincinnati, first half under 24.5 cashed. That full game I thought would have cashed had it not just quickly derailed in garbage time. The Patriots +8 cashed, and Washington +3 was the biggest bet of the season for me and for my fam. My father was heavily invested in it as well. You went 14-16. What a wild week it was for you. Down 3.87 units, 30 bets here. I'll hit them real quick, but you had teasers with the Rams and a Rams-Eagles moneyline parlay, which got you off to a tough start. Browns +4.5. You cashed because you got in early. You handled it beautifully. Then Jets, Dallas under 48.5 hurt you. The Texans were very good to you, as were the Saints. So there was 4 units right there. Then the Eagles hurt you. The you also had the parlay. You get the one with the Rams and one with the Colts. AJ Brown hurt and the Seahawks hurt. Put you in a tough spot.
I replaced the Rams with the Colts, so I added that bet later in the day after the Rams went down.
Yeah, it was that was tough spots for you in Seattle with the Colts, but then you lost with the Bengals plus 10.5, but then you destroyed with the Patriots. First half plus 4.5, plus 7.5, plus 8, plus 8.5. Cook under 78.5 rushing, which was beautiful. You did that with Etienne as well, under 65.5 rushing. That's a great thing that you've got going on right now. With the right defense, betting an under on a rushing prop, impressive.
I'm going to be way more cognizant about props in today's caps, especially rushing props under.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear that because it's been working for you. Diggs over 46.5 was a smash and grab. You went for a big score with Drake May anytime touchdown, and then the Chiefs hurt you. But that Thornton over 13.5 receiving yards, you got 90. You cashed that in 6 minutes. So overall, though, a down week for us record-wise. So let's change that right now. Jared TG in the house. We got Donut Silks. Brandon Cummings in the house. Brandon. I'm more of an under better, and these kickoff rules don't concern me whatsoever. Wine Time Sports, Harold Williams, Andrew G. Great to see all of you guys. So Troy, my man, there's Viper NB in the house. Troy, let's get right to work and attack this Thursday nighter because I know you are all over it. You ready to get to work?
Let's do it.
We start at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. The Eagles at New York Giants. Eagles 4-1, 2-0 on the road. No longer any undefeated teams in the NFL. Giants 1-4, 1-1 at home at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. It starts getting a little cooler. It's 53 Fahrenheit clear with 6 mile per hour winds. Let's get into the line history and the cash flow for the Thursday nighter. Now, I have the privilege of you sending me your action. I want to join you on this. This was the main bet here that you're on. I know you've got others around it, but the main bet you're on, I want to bet, and it's available. I'll let you talk about the bet, but it's available for me at minus 115, and I want to move on it. I haven't yet just because of time. The Giants open up plus 7.5, minus 110. They're now plus 7.5, minus 120. That 7.5 was the look ahead as well when it came out. When it came out on, actually it came out on Friday. It came out back, so it came out early, the look ahead. Then Friday it moved a half point, didn't reemerge. It just moved a half point towards the Giants. And then when it came out on Sunday night, it was a 7 again, and it quickly moved to 7.5. So that's the story there. From a total standpoint here for our Thursday nighter, we have a very, very low number of 40.5. The look ahead was 43. It comes out on Sunday at 7:53 p.m. at 42, and we're all the way down to 40.5. So a big move towards the under here. We have cash flow wise, 79% of tickets, 77% cash on the Eagles, 51% of tickets on the over, 81% cash on the over, and it is dropping fast, dropping very, very fast. Gorky, thank you for the dono. Gorky is on Philadelphia to win by 11 plus. It says Philadelphia is angry. I will copy, and the team total over. Oh no, it's the Bills team total over 20. I will copy and paste all of this. Gorky, thank you for the dono, and thank you for the support, my friend. That is all copied and pasted. The Gorkles action is in. So I am now not using yards and not using some of the things I've used in the past through talking with Troy. I'm now using Pro Football Focus PFF grades for passing offense, rushing offense, and pass rush, and the same with passing defense and rush defense. So that is a change here for me. So the Philadelphia Eagles passing offense ranked 12th, rushing offense ranked 22nd, which is a massive surprise to us. Red zone offense is first in the NFL, 92.3% success rate, cash rate, touchdown rate. Their number one third down offense in the league is still number one, despite going 2 of 11 on third down in the loss to the Broncos. Still number one in the league at 53.7%. Defensively is where they are succeeding as well. Their pass defense is ranked 10th. Their rush defense is ranked 6th. Their red zone defense is 3rd. They only allow touchdowns 42.9% of the time, and their third down defense is 9th, allowing conversions 35.5% of the time. Their pass rush is ranked 5th, according to PFF. They come in off a disappointing 21-17 home loss to the Broncos that saw them outscored 18-0 in the second half. Just their second loss in 22 games. Jalen Hurts was 23 of 38 for 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Devonta Smith led receivers with 8 catches for 114 yards. And your squeaky wheel play on Brown did not come to fruition. He struggled. He struggled again. Devonta Smith, 8 catches for 114 yards. The Eagles, again, their run game not looking very strong, ran 11 times for 45 yards. That just does not sound like the Philadelphia Eagles. Saquon Barkley had 6 carries for 30 yards, caught 3 passes for 58 yards and a touchdown. It's strange. Just 1 of 2 in the red zone. The defense let them down late. They let the Broncos score on all 3 of their fourth quarter drives. The Broncos also won the time of possession battle. The Broncos had the ball for 34 minutes and 17 seconds. They allowed the Broncos to go 2 of 3 in the red zone. The pass rush finished with 2 sacks and 8 quarterback hits. Nakobe Dean is expected to return to the lineup, linebacker Nakobe Dean, but Landon Dickerson suffered an ankle injury, and Grant Calcaterra, the backup tight end or tight end 2, suffered an oblique injury. They're both listed as questionable and are probably unlikely to go, but we'll know better when the Wednesday injury report comes out. Let's start with the Philadelphia Eagles. I know you're bullish on them here. They're an angry group. Gorky says they're an angry group, taking them to win by 11 plus. I don't think I'm going to make a move that drastic, but I do like where you're at, and I want to join you. So why don't you talk about the Eagles, talk about your action, and then we'll get into the Giants.
Yeah, so I'll talk about my action, I guess, after I touch on the Giants, because it kind of comes full circle. You need to talk about both teams, but one thing about the PFF grades that I can't figure out that I'm super interested in, I spent too much time trying to figure it out, is if the grading system accounted for strength of schedule. I don't think it does, but I really want confirmation on that, because sometimes I see certain grades that really are not applicable based on what I've seen and what other numbers might tell you. I think the Eagles are victims of their own success to some extent. And we've seen that with great teams in the league. We've seen that with the Chiefs not being able to win and win by margin. We've seen that with the Bills not being able to win and win by margin. I mean, they get complacent with their big leads. You could tell that the dynamic of the offense and the urgency just kind of goes away. This time they folded down the stretch instead of being able to finish that game out. And I remember the exact play where the real swing happened. It was a 3rd down and 6 at their own 35-yard line. A.J. Brown ran a beautiful double move against a perfect coverage, was wide open down the seam for a touchdown. Would have been a 70-yard walk-in touchdown. The ball was overthrown. And instead of putting 2 units on A.J. Brown in that situation, especially in the prop market where I shouldn't be having 2 units on any prop at this point, I should have split it up. I should have been on A.J. Brown, or I should have been Devonta Smith or Jalen Hurts. That's just something that I thought about while I was capping this game. I knew the Eagles were going to be passing the ball last week, but how could Saquon Barkley only get 6 carries? It's not like he was completely shut down when he was getting the ball. You still need to work that as part of your offense just to keep teams at the ready. And I think they got away from it. And I don't, maybe the squeaky wheel was a little bit too loud, and they're just trying, because Devonta Smith was right there with A.J. Brown. Maybe he wasn't as loud as about it, but his numbers. I mean, this guy's an elite receiver. Treat him like one. But at the same time, you got an elite running back. Don't forget about him, because there's a lot of mouths you got to feed. And I feel like they're struggling with that dynamic right now. And you could tell in the way they've been folding. I will say the offense, I think, is just raring to break out. I think that was a punch in the face, and will be a little bit of fuel in their tank to explode them, because this offense is ready to explode. We've seen them explode before. It's just a matter of time. Defensively, I think the Eagles are absolutely elite. I mean, outside of that 200 yards in the fourth quarter, they were insanely good on Sunday, and I would expect that to continue. It's funny. Dougie Wise says this regression, you should see it. I mean, and I was like, it's 4-1 regression. He says they're lucky to be 4-1. They're unlucky not to be 5-0. I mean, there's different ways of looking at it, Dougie Wise. I think it's a great start to the season for the defending Super Bowl champions. Not a questionable one. I do think that this line is a little concerning if you want the Eagles to cover by more of a touchdown. Let's talk about the New York Giants here. Passing offense ranked 28th in the league. I'm not sure if that will change, but this rushing offense 12th in the league, and we're seeing Jackson Dart. I mean, he ran 7 times for 55 yards, and Tyrone Tracy is expected to return from the shoulder injury. And we've seen Scadabo rolling. So I think that rushing offense will only improve. Their red zone offense should
improve, we think, with this magic happening between Dart and Theo Johnson, but they're last in the league, 31.6%. Their third down offense is third last in the league, converting at 32.3%. Their pass defense, 16th. Their rush defense, 22nd. PFF ranks. Red zone defense, 9th. They allow touchdowns 57.1% of the time. Their third down defense, 24th. Their pass rush is ranked 7th, although we didn't get much of that in the game against the Saints. 0 sacks and 1 quarterback hit. It was an ugly 26-14 loss in New Orleans. I mean, they handed the Saints the win. They lost the turnover battle 5-0. Dart was 26 of 40 for 202 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He also was one of 3 Giants to lose a fumble. Both TD passes were to Theo Johnson, who caught 6 for 33. Bellinger led receivers with 4 catches for 52. It was Scadabo and Slayton who had costly fumbles as well. Scadabo, though, looks great. You know, he ran 15 times for 59 yards, caught 6 for 45. But the Giants were 3 of 10 on third down, 2 of 4 in the red zone. As I said, the pass rush did nothing, and they lost by double digits despite holding the opponent to 0 for 3 in the red zone. I don't know if I've ever heard that happen before. It's not an easy thing to do. Bozeman hurt his ankle in the first half. Drew Phillips had an ankle injury in the third quarter. We'll get a better idea here shortly, but I agree with your look on the double result. I think it's a great price. I think it's a comfortable situation. I think it's a simple way of playing the Thursday nighter. I understand that the Giants are an angry group, but so are the Eagles. So you have 2 angry groups playing against each other. You know, we have a divisional battle here on a short week, which I get moves towards the under. I don't know if I wanted it at 42.5, honestly. And when Birdie says if it gets down to 39.5, he wants the over, I can see that as well. Talk to us about the Giants and talk to us about your action.
If you're going into a fight, you want to fight the big brother or the little brother. Both of them are angry. You want to fight the little brother. I mean, in most cases, this is little brother. I mean, both teams could be angry. One team has been a juggernaut over the course of the past, season, probably one full calendar year. And the other team has been gasping for air pretty much their entire existence. I think the Giants' offense is in bad shape. You got a rookie quarterback behind a pretty bad offensive line with no weapons, with Neighbors being out. And you look under the hood at Jackson Dart and you find just massive red flags. This is beyond the turnovers. Some of those turnovers very lucky. Some of those turnovers were self-induced from a rookie quarterback. Some of them were warranted given the defensive play. But Jackson Dart is responsible for 54% of the pressures he's seen this season. Sorry, this is the first time I've reported on a metric like this before. So Jackson Dart has been personally responsible for 54% of the pressures he's seen. The second quarterback behind him is at 30%. That's a massive discrepancy. Everyone clusters so close to this, 20 to 30% range, and he's at 54%. That's a massive red flag. You also see that he's 36th or last. That's 36th is the very last position in PFF in deep ball throwing accuracy and ability to throw and passer rating. He has a 0 passer rating on deep passes this year. He's 0 for 9 on those attempts. His only good grades are in the middle of the field, and I think that's a problem. There's so many red flags with this kid, and that's why we bet against him. And it looked pretty bad right out of the gate, but very soon after, we've seen it all come to fruition. And the Giants' defense is their strong suit. On a bad team, it's their strong suit. I'm not saying this defense is great because, like I talked about last week, their strength is centralized in their defensive line. And that defensive line is not performing against the run. That defensive line hasn't really been performing in the pass rush category either lately. And I think in either way you look at it, they're going to be neutralized by this Philadelphia offensive line. You got 2 great tackles, Malata and Johnson, are going to go up against Burns and Thibodeau. Love that matchup. Love both of those matchups. I think this is a wake-up call. That loss is going to serve Philly well. They're going to stop being so complacent when they get the lead. They're going to stay balanced on offense, and they're going to stay aggressive on defense, and they're going to finish the job the next time around. I truly believe that to be true. I think the Eagles are one of the best teams in the NFL once again. People doubt Jalen Hurts. We've seen this, the concerns about their offense in the past. We've seen the concerns about the defense in the past, and I think that this team has shown the ability to rise above that. They're going to be pissed off off a loss on prime time against a divisional opponent. And I hate to do it after losing with so many favorites last week. And I'm going to come out here and pull the trigger on a favorite in the first game of the day. But that's exactly what I did. And the market history of this spot, especially on prime time, is shocking. Shocking. In primetime games, line moving in a divisional home game towards the road team. The road team is 21-7 ATS on primetime, 75%. When the home team's a dog in those cases, they advance to 9-4 ATS. When they're a dog of 7 or more, 3-0 ATS, winning by 28, 18, and 21. Road favorites in the Eagles primetime market that we're looking at right here today, 8-0 straight up, winning by 16 points on average. After spending more time with this game, I want more action on it. You said I already bet the double result, and I have 2 teasers with the Eagles. Exactly. I lost with the Rams last week. I feel like that was an unwarranted loss for me to take with the Rams. They definitely, I think, outplayed and should have won that game last week and probably not covered. Matt Jones looked pretty good, but the Eagles, I'm going right back to the well. So I got the double result -125. I got the Eagles -1 tease with the Colts -0.5. And I got the Eagles -1 tease with the Seahawks +7.5.
Eagles -1 with the Seahawks +7.5. What was the second one in the middle?
The one in the middle was the Colts -0.5.
Colts -0.5.
And this last week really killed my record. Between the Rams, the Seahawks, and what was the other team that's eluding me, and the Eagles that I had money line parlay, I had teased and stuff like that. My record was off the charts when it came to teasers and money line parlays. So I'm going right back to the well, man. I'm
curious, where did you get the double result? What book?
At Bet365.
Well, so it's moved 10 cents against you.
That's what I was wondering, because I heard you say -115. I was wondering if they were offering me a worse price for whatever.
Why don't you look right now?
I'm checking it.
-115 is what, and that's what I thought you had got. So take a look.
Did I post? Yeah, what did I bet?
Yeah, take a look, double check.
Yep,
and
it's -115 right now for sure.
Yeah.
And I bet -125, so it has moved 10 cents.
Moved 10 cents against you. That's interesting.
And now I'm sweating.
Yeah, that always gets me sweating as well. I still think it's the move to make.
So do
And
I.
I'm interested in moving on it when the show ends. But clearly the market is telling us it's not going to be easy. And I think we need to trust that. Birdie says he would caution on the Eagles with a lot of his heart. Wage Detective says Eagle might be survivor this week. I don't think the Eagles will be. There's huge, incredible opportunities for survivor without this being needed. Yes, Johnson's not on the injury report, Gorky. It's just Landon Dickerson on the offensive line. That is. Johnson's not on the injury report. Good to go. Troy moving on 3 different spots with the Eagles, tying them to the Colts in a teaser and tying them to the Seahawks on a teaser, and the double result, which I expect to join here. That is our Thursday nighter. Join us right here for our live stream on Pub Sports Radio. We roll on. Troy, Sunday, October 12th, we head to London, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, England. Broncos, Jets, 62 Fahrenheit, partly sunny, 2-mile-per-hour winds. Pretty beautiful weather, strangely enough. Let's take a look at the line history here and the cash flow, and then get to work on the X's and the O's. We have a total of 43.5, so a total that's not moving. The look ahead was 43.5. Comes out on Sunday at 43.5. Did drop to 43 for 6 hours and then came right back to 43.5. When it came back to 43.5, it also came back juiced to the over. So very interesting, as we've seen already these games across the pond go over. So very interesting there. We have the Broncos -7 at -123. The look ahead was 6.5. Comes out on Sunday at 7. And it moves to 7.5. It dropped back to 7 yesterday at 4:19 p.m. It's basically a 7.5 right now, though. It's -123 towards the Denver Broncos. From a cash flow standpoint, 90% of the tickets and 92% cash on Denver. What could go wrong after beating the Super Bowl champions? I mean,
and then driving through the city, blasting Meek Mill. That's what they did. They didn't go straight to the airport. No. They took a drive on the team bus through Philly, blasting Meek Mill.
That's
Dreams
wild.
and nightmares. You've seen people on the streets, just Philadelphia citizens filming the freaking Broncos hanging out the window, blasting "Dreams and Nightmares" by Meek Mill.
That's wild. I didn't know that. But I
Not
don't.
like it matters very much, but it's definitely
It's an interesting side story, and also, I mean, we're talking about a team that's celebrating on their way to London against an 0-5 team. It sounds like the recipe for disaster is what it sounds like. I don't know if I have the balls to lose on the Jets again. I mean, I haven't lost on them every game this year, but I've certainly lost on a few. And I really liked them this past week. The market moving so bullishly towards us, and they were horrific. So let's talk about these Denver Broncos. Passing offense just 26th ranked in the league. Rushing offense 6th. That's something I didn't expect at all. I mean, Dobbins running the way he is, I just did not account for. Spenny is on the Jets plus 7.5. Dougie White says he's considering the Jets as the worst record in the NFL. Gorky says the Broncos are a survivor. I think there's a couple much easier spots personally, but I can understand the idea. Red zone offense for the Broncos 10th at 66.7%. Third down offense 24th. They only convert 37.3% of the time. Their passing defense is crazy. This was supposed to be the no-fly zone part 2, and they're ranked 27th. I mean, that's astonishing. It's astonishing that they're ranked 27th. And then it said, well, maybe this Eagles pass game is just very pedestrian. Now, can the Jets take advantage of it? No. So but it's just something to keep thinking about. Rush defense is 14th ranked. The red zone defense of the Broncos, we saw this last year too. Not first, but very good. First in the NFL. They're allowing touchdowns just 28.6% of the time. Their third down defense is third at 30.3%. Their pass rush ranked 9th. It's a good football team. Coming off a massive 21-17 victory over the defending champions. Bo Nix led scoring drives on all 3 fourth-quarter possessions. Coming back from a 17-3 deficit on the road. Shock and awe. 24-39 for 242 yards and a touchdown. This came a week after he threw for a career-high 326 yards and 2 touchdowns against the terrible Bengals. So he's finding it. He's clearly finding it. This pass offense that's ranked 26th should improve throughout the year, especially with J.K. Dobbins forcing other teams to defend the run. Cortland Sutton finished with 8 catches for 99 yards. Dobbins 20 carries for 79 yards. He ran for 101 last week. The offense won the time of possession battle against the Eagles. I don't remember saying that one time last year. 34-17 to 25-43. They were just 5 of 16 on third down, but they moved the sticks when it mattered, put up 358 yards of offense in Philly against a tough defense, and the defense was excellent. Held the Eagles to 2 of 11 on third down. Remember, this is the number 1 third down offense in the National Football League that they held to 2 of 11. They only gave him 2 red zone opportunities. Nick Bonito continued his monster run, 2.5 sacks. The Broncos sacked Hurt 6 times and hit him 8 times. And Ben Powers is going to be placed on IR. Maybe he's been put on tonight. He's going to be placed on IR this week, their guard, with a biceps injury. Talk about the Jets. I mean, what a horrific display. What a disastrous display. Their passing offense somehow is ranked 13th. A lot of these yards have come in garbage time. Rushing offense 20th, even though Breece Hall looks like the only guy, moving the sticks. Red zone offense 18th. Scoring touchdown 61.5% time. Third down offense 27th, converting 34.4% time. And their pass defense is the second worst ranked pass defense in the National Football League, according to PFF. Rush defense 12th, red zone defense 16th, third down defense 11th, and their pass rush is 25th. Aaron Glenn became the first Jets coach in franchise history to begin his tenure with 5 straight losses. It's New York's 4th 0-5 start in franchise history, the first since Adam Gase. 0-13 in 2020. And for those of you keeping track, Adam Gase has not had another NFL job since the debacle. Justin Fields, 32 of 46 for 283 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Also ran 7 times for 26 yards. So much of the offense came in garbage time, which does affect the stats and does affect how we view this team. Garrett Wilson caught 6 passes for 71 yards and a touchdown. Breece Hall ran 14 times for 113 yards, caught 4 for 42. He did lose a fumble. They were 8 of 19 on 3rd and 4th down, 2 of 3 in the red zone. But again, a lot of that came in garbage time. Their defense was terrible. They allowed the Cowboys to put up 7.1 yards per play, go 3 of 4 in the red zone. The league's 25th ranked pass rush was quiet. 1 sack, 3 quarterback hits against the Cowboys offensive line, missing 4 starters. Is that how bad the Jets pass rush is against such a weak offensive line? They can do nothing. The Jets also became the first team in NFL history. So we're talking since 1933, when turnovers were first tracked, the first team in NFL history to have no takeaways in their first 5 games. Crazy. Take it away for us, Troy. We're in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, England for Broncos Jets.
Oh, I hear Jimmy give this spiel, and I'm just listening the whole time as I'm back in the Jets this week, and I'm just like, kicking myself in the ass. But it's poetic almost. It's there's something poetic about this type of spot with a team that has not won a game. There's a team like the Broncos who came off a miraculous fourth quarter comeback and held up, and Bo Nix looked great in the fourth quarter, and the defense kind of started firing on all cylinders, and then they take the parade through Philly to celebrate with Meek Mill jamming in their own city. Now they got to travel to play an 0-5 team, and it's just one of those spots where I find an angle that I really like. And this Jets team, you really, there's no X's and O's. There's really no science to why I believe the Jets are going to cover the spot. And I can't even lean on the market because we're overseas. So it's not like I can lean on the market very much in this case. But how could you make a case with this defense? They can't tackle 30th. The pass rush is not getting home. The coverage is shockingly awful. A poorly designed defense. And that is also shocking because I thought Aaron Glenn, when I seen some of the coverages he was running out there in Detroit, I seen a guy with, good ideas, things that other coordinators weren't doing in the NFL at the time, and trying to account for all the missing pieces on his defense. And I just don't see that this year with the defense. And we talk like, at what point does does it become reality that this Jets defense is not where it was in 22-23? But where it is the past 2 seasons where they've been absolutely terrible. I think it's time to really consider that. Like I've already talked about that last week. And offensively, they have an inept quarterback, which really is puts the lowest Canaryville, Southside Chicago ceiling above their head, like where you stand up and you feel like you're in a basement, like you're in a crawl space almost. I don't think the offense has a high ceiling with Justin Fields. You said it. All their offense really came in the fourth quarter. They only mustered up 6 points in the first 3 quarters. Out of the 5 drives where they got in the scoring range, 3 of them were when the game was already over. Justin Fields, 37% of his short center part of the field passing attempts is 15% higher than the next qualified quarterback. That's a pretty bad sign, if you ask me. So here I am telling you about why the Jets suck. And I'm also going to tell you why I think the Broncos are way overvalued. Now, they did it was a convincing fourth quarter performance. It was a great, Sean Payton showed massive balls by going for 2 and taking the lead late in the fourth, really putting a ton of pressure on the Eagles on the road. Shocking call right there. So they're definitely impressive in 1 quarter of that football game, because the first 3 quarters were completely different and there was blown coverages. Guys were running wide open. There was only 1 defender on the field that was even performing anywhere near quality, and that was Patrick Surtain. So other than this defense was way underwhelming. I know Hufanga's good. I know they got Bonito, and there's good players on this defense, but where were they against the Eagles? Because they only some of them showed up. Because I really think the Eagles lost that game more than the Broncos won that game. And definitely some good coaching mixed in there. I think Bo Nix has looked like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league thus far. What has he done in versus who? Versus what defenses? He's looked good in 1 quarter of the Eagles game, and he's looked good against the Bengals. And then what else has he really done? Even the performance he had against the Colts, there's so many points that you could point to in that game where there's a lot of luck involved with all the points they put up on the board. And looking at his spray chart, the only competitive grades he has are behind the line of scrimmage. And Sutton is the only true weapon at his disposal. I'm not a believer in this Broncos offense, even though Sean Payton makes it look much better than it is. And I know that this defense, like we've talked about it, there's going to be regression. You can't repeat what they did last year. Nobody's done it in the history of the NFL since they started measuring EPA per play. And I think that you look at what the Jets want to do to the Broncos, what are they going to want to do? I mean, especially after the Justin Fields experiment goes south, and it's been south. They're going to go back to what they did in week 1, and they're going to try to run the football down their throats. Who's the only other team that tried to do that against the Broncos? It was the Colts, who have a really similar scheme to what we've seen in week 1 of the season. Heavy run, RPO, read option, quarterback power. I think we're going to see a lot of that against the Broncos, and I think that's going to keep this game close, and I think it's going to keep it under the total. I think that's why we see buyback in that market. And the best aspect of this Jets offense is their offensive line. I think we're just going to see them go to what they know the only option they have is to power running game, a power running scheme, read option. The only passes are on RPOs, and I think the Jets are going to cover the 7.5.
I mean, I just don't think I can press the button again.
We know where everybody's money is going to be.
You have to not look at any statistics for the Jets. You can't trust any of the offensive numbers that they put up in garbage time. You have to basically say this is an enormous letdown spot for the Broncos, and that's what I'm betting. I'm betting.
No. What I'm betting is their ability to run the football and keep the game close, because this is a team that cannot fight back once they get down significant margin. If they can keep the game close and they can stick to the run, if they can stick to running the ball, then I think the games are going to be close with the Jets, and 7.5 is too much. So that's what I'm betting, essentially.
So do we think this is I believe the PFF ranking this as the 20th ranked rush offense for the Jets is based on not trusting or not putting as much emphasis on these garbage time numbers that they were putting up, that Breece Hall was putting up. I get it. Like, there's zero chance I'll be on the Broncos, zero. I just don't know if I have the balls to bet the Jets. You got plus 7.5 at what juice?
Minus 110.
Minus 110. I mean, Birdie says this, and it's interesting. He says the Jets are setting up like the Titans last year. Sharps are betting them every week. Folks talk themselves into betting them off Dallas, tying Green Bay. Same situation here. Says over is probably the best look. I mean, everybody respects how you're, the way you're seeing this game. I just don't know if I can press the button. I mean, there's
not a lot of respect. Like, this is definitely not a spot where I think I'm going to get a lot of. This is where I expect to get nothing but heat. No one's going to want the Jets. Nobody can make a case for the Jets.
This is the spot where I think you have to take them. I think you have to take them. I imagine that I have to bet them. If this stays at 90% and it stays at a 7 or goes to a 6.5.
Wait, there's 7.5 still, aren't there?
There's
a few. There's a few 7.5s.
I guess there is, a couple. I guess there is, but plus 100, minus 120 kind of thing. But, I respect it very much. I would like to get there myself. I don't know if I can. Do you have any interest in this total?
I am spooked on the total markets. I'm spooked. I just can't go through that anymore. I don't know. Something about the total markets just rubbed me the wrong way. And watching a couple of these games closely where I have action on the total, I'm just done with it. Just done with it. There's too many variables you can't account for, and you could trust the market all you want, but there's just too many variables that are you just can't.
Look, I'm interested in joining you, but I'm going to have to work up the courage, and it's not going to happen tonight. They've cost me a lot of money, but I understand the situation, and any bet that makes me feel sick does appeal to me. Let's roll on. Next up for us, 1 p.m. Eastern, Arizona Cardinals 2-3, 1-1 on the road at the Indianapolis Colts, 4-1, 3-0 at home at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. It's funny, I had the Colts week 1, took their win total over 7, but supported Danny Dimes, and then when they started looking really good, I kind of backed away. I wasn't involved in the Rams-Colts game. I stayed off of that one, but I was idiot enough to take the Raiders at 7 last week, which was astonishing when I was watching that game play out, how ridiculously terrible the idea that I had was. So this total is a 47.5 at a pick'em. The look ahead was 47.5. It opened up on Sunday at 9:17 p.m. at 47. It dropped down to 46.5 before it started climbing back up to 47.5. So it's moved up a half point since it came back out on Sunday, but the look ahead is right where it is at. From a spread perspective here, we have Indianapolis -6.5, -114. The look ahead was 3.5. Now the look ahead did get hammered up to 4.5 and then dropped down to 4. So that's interesting. Then on Sunday night, it opens up at 5.5, goes to 6 and 6.5. So it's moved a point since it was reemerged. When we get to the cash flow here for Colts Cardinals, we have 88% of tickets, 87% of cash on the Colts, 83% of tickets, and 92% of cash on the over. Harold Williams says he's a believer in the Colts now. Vincent Hawkins is on Colts team total over. So let's set this one up. We have Spenny saying Kyler Murray so soft. I hate when the going gets tough and the quarterback comes out with a foot injury. Jonathan Gannon said yesterday that they're going to see how the week goes with Murray listed as questionable. Murray, I'm telling you, Kyler Murray better shoot himself up with something, get the fuck out on the field. That's what he better do. If he wants to be a leader of men, that's what he better fucking do. He better fucking Willis Reed this shit. So for his sake and for who he is and his character, I hope he can do that. Cardinals passing offense 15th, rushing offense 26th, red zone offense 20th, third down offense 17th. It's weak. Passing defense ranked 12th, rush defense ranked 25th, red zone defense ranked 4th, which is a surprise. They're only allowing touchdowns 47.1% of the time. Third down defense 7th. They're allowing conversions 34.3% of the time. And this pass rush is weak, 26th ranked from PFF. They come in off a disastrous 22-21 home loss to the previously winless Tennessee Titans. They've now lost 3 straight games on the last play of the game. Troy, you know that's the first time that's ever happened in NFL history? I was shocked. You'd think a team could lose 3 straight games on the last play of the game. Never happened in NFL history. Kyler Murray was 23 of 31 for 220 yards, didn't throw a touchdown, didn't throw a pick. He also ran 4 times for 25 yards in the touchdown. He did lose that fumble. That was an embarrassing one. And now he's got the foot injury. Marvin Harrison is stepping up. A lot of you guys predicted it. Shout out to Justin McKelvey, Stacks Play Today. He predicted it. 4 catches for 98 yards. With Connor done for the year and Trey Benson on IR, Michael Carter was thrust into RB1. He ran 18 times for 51 yards in the touchdown. But the whole game will be remembered for Demercado. 71-yard would look to be a touchdown in the 4th to put the game away. And he inexplicably dropped the ball a taint hair before the goal line. 3 carries for 81 yards. I thought that Gannon handled that terribly. I mean, I know that you're in the heat of the moment, but when you see you're up at that point, you're in complete control of the football game. And I think what was it, 21-6 or 21-3 at the time? And when you blow your top over that, what does it send the message of? It sends we are scared. That's the message that it sends. Now, I know Gannon apologized, but he sure looked like a chump. He sure looked like a loser. And I know it's all Demercado's fault, but goddamn, have some poise if you're going to be an NFL coach. Watch what happens. Aaron Glenn dances up the sidelines. Now he's the first football coach in the franchise history to go 0-5. Have some composure if you're going to coach these fucking teams, man. Good God, Gannon's an ass clown. Screaming and yelling him at the sidelines like he's a child, like Gannon just lost a bet. The Cards were 3-4 in the red zone. It was 21-6 when that happened, and he's fucking panicking. And of course they lose. It's Gannon's fault, not Demercado's. The defense allowed rookie Cam Ward to go 13 of 18 for 193 yards in the 4th quarter. Surprise, surprise! It all happened after you lost it on the sidelines on Demercado. Sweat had both Cardinal sacks. Taylor Demerson had an interception, immediately fumbled. The Titans jumped on the ball in the end zone for a touchdown. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Quarterback Max Melton still out with the hamstring injury. They had 6 inactives. Offensive lineman Evan Brown with a hamstring injury. Defensive lineman Darius Robinson. All 3 are listed as questionable this week. Linebacker Cody Simon left in the first half. He's listed as questionable. And then tight end Tip Ryman left with the ankle injury in the 3rd quarter. He's being placed on IR IR. He's going to miss the rest of the season. Let's start with the Cardinals. Troy, do you see any hope of them showing character and bouncing back in this kind of a situation?
No, I actually think that's what they lack is character and leadership, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, this is a team that I view as completely broken. Their 2 wins this season came against the Panthers and the Saints. They're 2-3 right now with the weakest strength of schedule in the NFL. When they lead in the fourth quarter, you know it's not going to last for long. The defense actually has some bright spots with Calais Campbell, Josh Sweat, rookie Will Johnson from Michigan, I believe, is balling out. And the offense has some glimpses of glory, too. They have Paris Johnson, McBride, Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison. There's players on this team. They did lose one of their key guys, and Kyler Murray's blanky. But they still have some guys on this offense. They have some high-caliber players. But in the biggest moments of every game, they just continue to not perform. And I think that this Cardinals team is up against the best team that they've seen all season long.
Yeah,
it's hard to put your finger on. If you watch the Cardinals play, you can't really put your finger on what's wrong with this team. So you kind of assume it's coaching. You assume it's leadership, right? Well, because it's really hard to put your finger on.
But these guys saying, Gorky saying coaches should not have to apologize for wanting players to know grade school level rules. Yeah, sure, he should not apologize. And he wouldn't have had to apologize if he didn't have a fucking temper tantrum on the sidelines in front of his whole team. If my 4-year-old son did that, we'd have a long talk after the game. My 4-year-old and I would have a long talk. Jonathan Gannon's a little bitch, and he's got to step up and stand up for. You think Jim Harbaugh would have done that?
Never.
This guy stands behind his players. Remember, Omari and Hampton didn't run off didn't go out in the sidelines in Brazil. And what did Harbaugh say? Harbaugh said, "Look, that's on us. We should have told it." Like Harbaugh stands behind his players. They break through walls for him. Gannon has temper tantrums on the sidelines like a little bitch, and the team falls apart in front of him. Tie that shit together. Let's talk about the Colts here. The Colts passing offense ranked 8th, rushing offense ranked 7th. This is a good football team. Red zone offense 19th, though, 60%. Third down offense 3rd. They're converting 46.6% of the time. Passing defense 11th, rush defense 21st, which is a bit of a surprise. Their red zone defense and third down defense is really poor. Red zone defense 20th. They're allowing touchdowns 61.5% of the time. Their third down defense 26th, 44.1% of the time. Pass rush 14th. Composure. Just so much of life is about keeping your composure, especially if you're going to be a leader of men. But I'll stop about it. The Colts coming off an extremely impressive 46 victory at home over the Raiders. Colts' most lopsided win in 12 years. Dimes went 20-29 for 212 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's won more games in 5 weeks as a Colt than he did in his final 16 starts in 2 seasons with the Giants. Ashton Doolin led receivers with 2 catches for 55 yards. He's looked good in special teams as well. Josh Downs had 6 catches for 54 yards. Jonathan Taylor is a beast. 17 carries for 66 yards and 3 touchdowns. Caught 3 passes for 20 yards. The offense got whatever it wanted. 8 of 10 on third down, a perfect 6 of 6 in the red zone. The defense was excellent. They did, though, allow the Raiders to go 8 of 14 on third down, which is strange. The Colts' third down defense ranked 26th in the league. They did, however, hold the Raiders to 0 of 4 in the red zone. That only got them to 20th now at 61.5%. So I still am trying to figure out this defense. Pass rush was strong, 4 sacks, 5 quarterback hits. Mekhi Blackman and Latu had interceptions. The Colts didn't play their starters in the fourth quarter. They lost Spencer Schrader. Spencer Schrader got run into by Tristan McCollum, and the Colts then went for 2 in each of their remaining touchdown drives. Steichen said Monday that Schrader will miss the remainder of the season after suffering a torn ACL and MCL. That's the second time in 2 years that's happened to him. It's too bad. Indy also lost cornerback Mike Hilton to a shoulder injury in the first quarter and defensive tackle Grover Stewart to a biceps injury in the second half. They're both listed as questionable. Wide receiver Alex Pierce and cornerback Kenny Moore were both inactive, listed as questionable this week. So do you put your foot on the throat of the Cardinals with the public and step down? Troy, how are you handling this?
I don't know if I'm going to do anything with this game outside of what I've already communicated, which is a teaser. And it's funny I go back to this because last week I seen a lot of trends that would have put me on the Colts in that market environment, and it's pretty much a very similar story today. But I don't know why laying a big number with this team that is so high right now and that is really due for a letdown. But the problem with that line of thinking is what I've been talking about all season long. after watching them in the very first game of the season, I'm kicking myself for not moving on futures on this team, because I came out and said convincingly that this offense has the sustainability, it has continuity. They have a plethora of weapons. They have a great offensive coordinator, and they have a quarterback that has the ability to execute Steichen's ideal game plan. And I knew the offense was going to be really good this season, and that's what they've been. It's really a question about the defense for me with this Colts team. And going back, and now that I've watched the Colts and I've bet on them pretty much every single week thus far, I think that it's impressive what he's doing. And it's not like he has a ton of good talent on this team, but the way he changes his scheme is really just by his alignment. Nickel 2-4-5. You're seeing a lot of nickel 2-4-5 single high safety from the Colts. And what I love about it is sometimes you'll see a wide, you rarely will see a wide 9 where it's just wide splits on the defensive front, but you will see the two down linemen pinch really close and the ends widen their splits. Or you'll see the exact opposite where the ends split down and the defensive tackles split wide. So he changes his scheme by aligning players, even in his safeties. Like, for example, I remember a specific play on 3rd down. Geno Smith ended up throwing a pick, but they've been playing cover three, and they were showing single high safety. And all of a sudden, on 3rd down, as soon as that snap happens, that safety that was playing in the box, Nick Cross, who's a great box defender, almost all of his snaps as a safety are in the box. He's a great run defender. He bails, and it's cover 2, or it's 2-man under. It's man defense with 2 high safeties, and the very aggressive on the edge. Charvarius Ward, you were right about Charvarius Ward, Jimmy. You were saying that he was going to have a bounce-back season. Right now, he's rated as the 2nd-best cornerback in the NFL. And actually, the 1st-best cornerback in the NFL grading-wise is on the other side of the ball. He's on the Cardinals, and that's shocking. And his name is, I already talked about him, Will Johnson, the Wolverine. I think the Colts are going to win this game. The Cardinals are lost. I think they're a broken team. They have no character. I'm not extremely confident in the ATS or betting the spread in this game, but I do think that the Colts get the job done.
So it's just going to remain a teaser leg, and maybe you'll add to another teaser spot, but you don't want them by a touchdown. By a touchdown.
I mean, I kind of do, but I don't think I'm going to pull the trigger on it. I mean, we really haven't seen Kyler Murray playing from behind. The only game we've seen him play from behind this season, usually this team is playing from ahead and having to fight, or, just having to hold teams off in the 4th quarter. The only time we've seen him behind, they were down big against the Seahawks, and they were getting their ass whooped. Somehow he put them in that ball game, backdoor them. Or, not in that case, it wasn't a backdoor, but if that happened here, it would be.
Can you answer this question before we move on? Birdie says Gannon, and it's not a question, it's just a statement from Birdie, but tell me what you think of it. Birdie says Gannon went against Steichen in practice for multiple years in Philly. Steichen is running the same offense. Cards are a very good look here. What do you think of that?
Exact offense, and if anything, I trust the defensive side of the ball more than the offensive side of the ball for the Cardinals. I think that's a sharp take.
So with that, because I mean the public's going to be hammering over, it's over that 47 and a threshold, over 47 and a half. Would you be very interested in under?
Under makes sense here. The only thing is, it's just ridiculous, man. I just can't trust this total market. I mean, it's just been demoralizing. Honestly,
I am interested in studying the under. I'm not going to move on it tonight, but I'm certainly interested in studying it for a little longer. I guess we just move on from that point. But I want to know what the hell's going to happen to Kyler Murray. I mean, what would happen if Jacoby Brissett's in there? With that, because he is a leader. The line will move even further to the Colts. Would that give you any interest at all? Or you need Kyler Murray in there?
No, I don't need Kyler Murray, and I actually think Jacoby Brissett can play is one of the best backups in the NFL for these spot games. Obviously, not for extended stretches of time. That would make me less interested in the Colts, but not off the Colts. And I probably should be betting the spread on the Colts. I probably should be.
Birdie says he'll be buying off of his cards bets. He wants off. And AM's right. It comes down to this. This is how you got to cap it. He says, I think this game comes down to, do the Cardinals bounce back from that devastating loss, or are they in a downward spiral right now? I have interest in the under. I guess I got to sit with whether Kyler Murray's going to step up and man up and be out there. Donut Silk says spiral in his opinion. All right, let's roll on. So just the teaser piece at this point for Troy. We roll on. Next up for us is my game, Troy. God, how do I not spend 30 minutes on this one? LA Chargers 3-2, 1-1 on the road. The Miami Dolphins 1-4, 1-1 at home. We're at Hard Rock Stadium, Miami Gardens, Florida. I believe the LA Chargers are the single best gift to gamblers in all of sports right now. If you read their numbers, look at this. Passing offense ranked 7th. Rushing offense ranked 1st. It's so funny to me. This is so funny. Third down offense 4th. Now, their red zone offense is weak. It's 30th at 38.5%. Their pass defense is 6th. Rush defense is 3rd. Their red zone defense is 2nd. This shit is hilarious. Third down defense, 12th. Now, their pass rush is 30th. And you're going to see all the stats fall apart. This team is going to completely fall apart. And this is the rare occasion where you're not too late. If you haven't joined me the last couple weeks, this past game was the biggest investment of the year. And this one could become that. My dad only sent in for 300, 150 on the money line for the Dolphins, 150 on the spread. I moved on for 600 on the Dolphins at 4.5. And I'm probably going to move on the first half soon, even though that doesn't really fit the storyline. And I'll give you guys the storyline. This fading the Chargers is a gift. And nobody joined me last week except for Gorky. And it's up to you guys how you want to handle it. But I'm telling you, the only problem here is the Dolphins. But I didn't bet on the Commanders. I was fading the Chargers. And the Dolphins are not a good football team. That's why we're getting the points that we're getting. So let's get into the line history, and I'll explain this a little bit more, and I'll try to be as brief as I can. This total is a 43. It is juiced to the under. The look ahead was 44.5. It opened up on Sunday morning at 45, and it dropped down to 43. It's a 2-point move towards the under, which I completely agree with. But I guess maybe it would be time to take the Chargers team total under if I wanted to keep investing in this spot. We have a 4 right now. You can still get 4.5. The look ahead was 5.5. It opened up Sunday night at 6, and now it's dropped to 4. I did get the 4.5. When we get the cash flow here for this one, it's just heaven. 69% of the tickets and 82% of the cash on the Chargers. I mean, it's just heaven. 60% of tickets on the over and 60% cash on the under. We have the Chargers coming off an ugly 27-10 loss at home to the Commanders. Herbert was 22 of 29 for 166 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Also ran 4 times for 60 yards. Trey Lance came in late, 3 of 4 for 44 yards. Keenan Allen caught 5 passes for 58 yards. Omarion Hampton ran 12 times for 4 yards before hurting his ankle, being placed on IR. I'll get into that in a little bit. Q caught 4 passes for 40 yards, but he lost a key fumble when the Chargers were in complete control of the game, and I can explain all of it. The pass rush was completely invisible. Get used to it. 1 sack, 1 quarterback hit. That's not going to change anytime soon. Khalil Mack and Denzel Perryman are still on the IR. The defense allowed the Commanders to put up 7.1 yards per play and go 3 of 5 in the red zone. So the Chargers were in complete control of the game early, but with all their injuries, they don't have the depth to withstand 60 minutes of football. Great coaching and scripted plays can only last for so long. The offensive line without Rashawn Slater, who's done for the year, and Joe Alt, who's listed as questionable. Now, if he comes in, that can help Chargers backers, but they got progressively worse as the game went on. So here's what happened in the football game. If you guys are watching, here's what happened. Pipkins is one of the replacements. And he has played a lot of tackle, and he's not that bad. He was supposed to be the swing tackle in the best offensive line in football. but he has knee problems. He had knee problems going to the game. He shouldn't have played. He became more ineffective.
Who's this Pipkins?
This is Pipkins. And they pulled him in the second quarter. He tried to play for a little bit in the second half. He was taken out again. So that meant the Chargers were down to tackles who wouldn't make most rosters, let alone starting lineups. Now, Mekhi Becton is a very good guard. He was coming out of concussion protocol. He suffered a hand injury in the second half, so he was taken out and could not return. Their center, Bozeman, even when he's healthy, he's not good. And he's not healthy. He's got a back injury. So he's playing through a back injury. Herbert is the most pressured quarterback in the league. So he was sacked 4 times. He's been sacked 16 times through 5 games. Harbaugh, whom I love, he calls the offensive line the tip of the spear. That's why he's invested so much into it. This spear is not going to hurt anybody. Deshaun Hand was playing defensive end. He got hurt. He did not return for the second half. There was no ability to stop the run. None. Is this just because of Hand's absence? Is it because they didn't re-sign Poona Ford? Is it? There's a lot of reasons that you can explain this. So there was no pass rush. And then the secondary didn't look good because there was no pass rush. And the secondary was supposed to be the strength of the team. The only bright spot on the whole Chargers team in that game was Omarion Hampton. I mean, he's catching the ball on screens. He looked great. His best run was called back. So the stats are deceptive. He suffers an ankle injury in the second half, and there's no run game after that. He's been put on IR. The Chargers have good receivers. We know that, but Herbert takes too long to get the ball out. He's not getting any protection. And he takes too long to get the ball out when he even has the best offensive line in football. The interception he threw at the goal line was, if you watch, was one of so many passes that he throws that gets tipped. He's holding on to the ball for too long. The Chargers were one of the least penalized teams in the first 3 weeks of the season. That's over because they're a fucking mess. 15 penalties for 107 yards and lost to the Giants. 10 penalties, 85 yards, 3 turnovers in Washington territory. If you are not paying your mortgage and making your car payments fading the Chargers, I wonder why you're leaving money on the table. Troy Torrence, I've been talking for a long time, so I don't want to get into the Dolphins, which I will soon. But tell me your thoughts on the Chargers. The greatest gift to gamblers over the last 2 weeks that's not going to change and not going to end.
Oh, man, how do I even follow that up? And I feel like I can't talk about the Chargers without talking about the Dolphins, but I'll try. And I got to give you props because that's insane. I really wanted to back the Chargers. The only reason you saved me money because I would have been backing the Chargers because I always want to look to fade this Commanders team. But I stayed off this past week, and I was very, very happy that I stayed off this team because they fell completely apart as that game progressed. And it just makes me wonder, looking at this market, looking at this number, and looking at the PFF grades, and looking at some other metrics. The more metrics you look at, the more you realize that this team is overpriced. But you would have to imagine that, and I want to really see this market develop because you'd have to imagine that a lot of the sharp action is coming in on this Dolphins team. And I don't know if Greg Roman can scheme around this battered, just beaten, and terrible offensive line. But the score did not reflect reality at the end of the day. They lost that game per PFF 24-21. I think it was a little bit steeper than that. It's probably a little bit generous based on what I've seen. But take that for what it is. And I'm actually starting to document what these noise-adjusted scores are because I've seen that the widest gaps in these noise-adjusted scores have resulted in the team the following week that was the beneficiary of that bad score covers in the following week. So I'm going to start tracking that because that's something I talk about each week. Let's put some context to it and see what's really going on. The offensive line. And this is another thing I've started to do this year. So after week 3, I went through and I started to document where every offensive line was relative to pass block and run block rates. Well, the pass block category for this offensive line was top 5. They were 4th in pass block after 2 weeks. So I did this after week 2. Now they're 12th. So they dropped 10 spots. And it's almost, I don't think I've ever seen a team drop 10 spots after just a few weeks. Now I'm going to be able to quantify that moving forward. But 10 spots and probably free falling against the Commanders' defensive line, which is, we don't consider that to be very strong. Now they did go against, Washington. I guess they're middle of the pack. They're not bad, but they're not very strong. The Giants, I mean, who knows what they are at this point. I think they have a good pass rush, so that'd be a good pass rush. But still, like, they're falling off the charts and they're falling fast. And they got the Dolphins, who is 20th, and they've actually been climbing from the pass rush standpoint. Is an elite quarterback and good weapons enough if you can't protect them? And if Greg Roman cannot scheme around this bad offensive line. There's a lot to figure out with this Chargers offense. I still think the defense is, they're grading out top 5 in the NFL. I think that's heavily scheme-oriented discipline. I feel like there's not a lot of you look at this defense on paper and you're not going to look and be like, oh, wow, this defense is unbelievable. Look at all the talent they have. But when you look at what the defense puts out on the field every week, they're solid. I mean, they're generating pressure on 25% of dropbacks. That's 8th in the league. They did held the Commanders to 2 for 7 on third down. They couldn't stop the Wildcat, and they could not stop the short passing game. And that's a problem, in my opinion, because I feel like that translates pretty well to this Dolphins team who wants to attack quick. They want a death game, screen game. And that's kind of where I'm at with the Chargers team right now. Good defense. Offensively, trying to figure it out with a terrible offensive line and a great quarterback.
You guys, there's a bunch of people who vehemently disagree, and that's fine. Almost everybody disagreed with me last week, and that's fine. Like, I'm not here to force you guys or push you guys into anything, but I moved before the Commanders game on max. Well, just 500. So it's, but I put 500 on the under 10.5 wins at plus 100. Then yesterday I put 500 on the Chargers not to make the playoffs at plus 225. Let's talk about the Dolphins here. Passing offense 17th, rushing offense 28th, red zone offense and third down offense, both second in the league. Now, I know you could say, well, that will change drastically without Tyreek Hill, but Waddle looks spectacular. Pass defense is 29th. Rush defense is 30th. Those are terrible rankings. Red zone defense is 9th. Third down defense, second worst in the league, and the pass rush is second worst in the league. Right? The Dolphins coming off a disappointing 27-24 loss at Carolina. My dude says Miami was up 17-0 to the Panthers. Well, the Falcons lost 30-0 to the Panthers at home. So do you think the Falcons are a better team than the Dolphins? Because it doesn't fit. Your ideology doesn't work at all. Now, the Dolphins were outgained 418 to 248. Tonga Vailoa, 27-36 for 256 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. First full game without Tyreek Hill. Waddle caught 6 for 110. Waller caught 5 for 78 and touchdown. And the Dolphins got absolutely nothing from their running game. 14 carries for 19 yards from Devon Achane. From the Dolphins, 14 for 19. Achane ran 10 times for 16, and he caught 6 for 30 and a touchdown. The Dolphins were 6 of 14 on third and fourth down and 2 of 3 in the red zone. They allowed the Panthers to put 418 yards, 6.4 yards per play. But we know that the Panthers are undefeated at home. Sure, it's only been 2 games. The Panthers gashed them on the ground for 239 yards. I do not think the Chargers are capable of doing that. And you guys can say that Vidal's going to have a monster day. That's all well and good. We don't have to agree. The pass rush finished with 3 sacks and 8 quarterback hits. Minka Fitzpatrick had an interception. The Dolphins have been without 2 guards, important ones, and 1 tackle. They've been without James Daniel, Austin Jackson, and Liam Eichenberg. Their run block grade is second worst in the NFL. They've been playing without Storm Duck, and it appears they've lost Cornell Armstrong, who's dealing with a hamstring injury. We'll see with tomorrow's injury report. Tyrell Dodson, a linebacker, is in concussion protocol here. So, look, this is spectacular. This is fucking heaven. I'm fading a team whose statistics tell everybody that they're a good football team. I'm fading a team that's got 80% of the tickets in cash on them every week. And I'm just sitting back and making money. Now, we're only 2 weeks in. That's why I'm telling you that you're not late. But you also don't have to agree. So, I've got 2 units right now on the 4.5. I probably add the first half plus 3.5, even though I think it's better just focusing on the Chargers team total under or something of that ilk, because you want to attack the Chargers. We know Harbaugh's a great coach and the scripted plays can work, and the Chargers are, have some really nice pieces, and You want 60 minutes for all their deficiencies to show. And I mark my fucking words. They're going to show. So anything you want to add to the spot here? Because it's my favorite.
Absolutely. I can't just trash the Chargers without absolutely trashing the Dolphins as well. I mean, how could you even be close to impressed with what we've seen from this team? Their only win came against New York Jets, and that was a competitive game at the end of the game. I mean, the Jets couldn't even stop the same version of the same exact play. It's just a different version of the same play. They ran it over and over, and they ran the ball up and down the field against the Jets. You think that's going to happen against Harbaugh? I don't. They only averaged 4.7 yards per play against the Panthers, and they allowed 3 sacks against the worst pass rush in the NFL by far. A pass rush that's only, applying pressure at a 7% clip, 7%. That's 3 times lower than the average. They got gashed for 239 rushing yards against this Panthers team, 7.5 yards per carry. I look at the Dolphins, and I see just as bad of an offensive line with 1 quality player and 2 of the worst guard tandem in the NFL by far. 2 terrible tackles. I guess what's his name? Patrick Paul, second year. He's actually shown some life over the past few weeks. So I see just as bad of an offensive line. I see very strong weapons with Waddle, A-Chain, and Waller, and a QB who's immobile. I think he's past his prime after all these injuries. Obviously I like the fact that Dolphins are playing at home where they're much better. I kind of think the same could be said about the Chargers, who've been much better on the road. Then the Chargers can put together a defensive scheme to limit this Dolphins offense. Minter, mix in man and zone like he usually does. Take away the crossing routes and stop in the run. I feel like he's going to be successful doing that. And all things to me with this handicap are pointing to the under. Too bad I'm absolutely spooked. And how could I not make a case for the Chargers offense too? Dolphins with the highest blitz rate in the NFL. And Herbert has been much more successful in his entire career against the blitz. Highest blitz rate in the NFL, but they cannot apply pressure. How can you not apply? Bertie was talking about the pressure rates, and I agree. Like that's definitely a massive red flag. And the defensive front for this team, they're soft. They want to play finesse. They want to rush the passer. They don't want to battle for every inch, for every yard in the trenches. I think the Chargers have a trench advantage, despite how bad this offensive line has been. Like they're going to get it. They're going to be way more focused coming off 2 losses with a better quarterback, a better coach. I don't know. Like it's tough. Like I look at this price and I think that it's going to close 3. I think this game is going to close 3, and at 3, I'll start to be considering the Chargers. And the only reason I haven't bet the Chargers yet is because of your bullishness. Again, this is the 2nd week in a row. Do I want to go up against that? No. So I haven't.
I can't wait. I can't fucking wait. I wish I could just skip the next 96 hours and watch this fucking football game. I'm going to be I already have 2 units. My pops has 1 unit. He split his between money line and the 4.5. And I'm going to be adding to it. I'm not sure how exactly. Maybe I add the first half with just 1 unit plus 3.5. That's a pretty nice number at 3.5 minus 115. Even though I want the 60 minutes, but 3.5 is a pretty nice number. And then add the Chargers team total under. This is the best gambling situation I've been in years. I've never been in something quite this perfect, and it's not ending. And you can see in the chat, it's not going to end. And yes, could the Dolphins screw this up? Yes. Yeah, they can. That's the problem in the piece, but that's why we're getting plus points, at home against a team completely unraveled and disheveled. Now they have a great coach and they have stars, star linebacker, star safety.
So I'm just gonna throw out one thing here. I'm not even gonna do it, man. We don't even know where this market's gonna close. I think it's closing 3, so this would be irrelevant as well. This is crazy though that this price range, the Chargers have played on the road in this price range pretty frequently with this market activity, but mostly this sample is closing at 4.5. I do think we're heading lower. But this is insane. Okay. I gotta give it, Jim.
Yeah.
Home dogs that close between +3, +4.5 after a move towards them, with the bigger bets coming in on the road team. Do you have the bigger bets coming in on the road team based on your metrics?
I imagine so. Yes, definitely.
I have that too. And when the bigger bets are on the road team is 7-1 ATS in this sample. The only loss, you got to go all the way back to a game between the Dolphins and the Bills, and the Dolphins got the job done. So that's actually interesting too. But the Chargers have 3 games in the sample where they crushed the Patriots, the Panthers.
Again, every angle is doing me a favor. Every trend is doing me a favor. The fact that this is a terrible, edge here with the Dolphins at home, with the bigger bets on the road team, the road favorite. I'm telling you, it was like fucking sent from some other world to help my bankroll. And I can't wait for this football game. And whatever side you're on, everybody in the chat, good luck. And I'm sorry we took so long with that game. I'll speed up some other games, but it's just a gift. It's been a goddamn gift. I mean, imagine getting to my pops too. My pops getting to fade his team, betting the Giants on the money line, betting the Commanders on the money line. Not only that, Troy, but he left with 7 minutes left in the game. He was so disgusted, but he was so right. It's just fucking heaven.
This is great. This is great content right here. This is beautiful.
It's heaven. Everything about this is like, I'm gonna, when I'm on my deathbed, hopefully it won't be soon, I'm gonna say, God, remember that run I had fading the Chargers? I'll say it to my pop. Maybe I'll say it to him when he's on his deathbed. I'll say, hey, Dad, remember that fucking run we had fading the Chargers? Wasn't that magic? All right. I love you too, Birdie. Let's roll on. Next up for us, 1 p.m. Eastern. New England Patriots 3-2, 2-0 on the road at the New Orleans Saints, 1-4, 1-2 at home at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. This is such an interesting game here because you have the Patriots winning their Super Bowl, beating Buffalo in Buffalo, and then you have the Saints coming off of a game where they won the turnover battle 5-0. You clearly have sharps on the Saints expecting a fall from grace from these New England Patriots, because this line is pretty confusing. The Patriots right now, so this has gone to 3 at a bunch of different times. I guess every time it drops to 3, I guess the Saints get hammered. I'm guessing the look ahead was 3.5. Then this opens up on Monday morning at 10:30 in the morning at a 3. It lasts for 10 minutes till it goes to 3.5. But then once it's at 3.5, it moves, it gets juiced up to -115. That takes about 3 or 4 hours. And then it's a +100, and then it's back to a 3 again. So, the sharps are hammering the Saints. So my problem here, and so from the re-emerging of the line, we've had a half-point move, maybe a more of a quarter of a point move towards the Patriots. From the look ahead, we've had a slight move towards the Saints. My problem is I don't know how you can back the Patriots after winning their Super Bowl, and I don't know how you can back the Saints after winning a turnover battle 5-0. And none of it makes any sense to me. I can't back either of these football teams. This total is a 46. The look ahead was a 45. It opened up on Sunday at 1:42 p.m. at a 46, and it hasn't moved. This thing's just been sitting there. 46. So let's talk about the Patriots, New Orleans here. Let's talk about the Patriots. Passing offense 10th, rushing offense 31st. They have the second worst rushing offense in the NFL as from PFF, and that has to do with the fumbles. Red zone offense 16th. They score touchdown 63.2% of the time. Third down offense 14th. They allow conversions they get conversions 40.4% of the time. Sorry. So they score touchdowns 63.2% of the time, and they convert on third down 40.4% of the time, 16th and 14th, respectively. Their pass defense and rush defense are very poorly rated. Now, we think Gonzo will change that pass defense rank from PFF, but it's 24th. Rush defense is 24th as well. Their red zone defense is 30th. third worst in the NFL, allowing touchdowns 75% of the time. Their third down defense is 21st, 41.8% of the time. If you look at these numbers, their defense is trash. I don't believe that's the case. We just watched them beat the Bills 23-20. But these are the numbers. The pass rush right now is ranked 12th. That's the only really good part of this team. Patriots coming off an impressive 23-20 victory. We talked about it. They've won back-to-back games for the first time since mid-2022. Good God. They have a winning record through 5 games for the first time since 2019 when Brady helped them open to 8-0. They're now 1 game back of the Bills. Both teams averaged 6 yards per play. Drake May was 22 of 30 for 273 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Stephon Diggs was spectacular. You bet the over 46.5. He was phenomenal. He follows up a 6-catch, 101-yard outing by catching 10 balls for 146 yards. Travion Henderson, Antonio Gibson, Ramondre Stevenson combined for 19 carries for 59 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ramondre Stevenson did lose another fumble, and Antonio Gibson suffered a torn ACL. So he is done for the season. They limited the Bills to 20 points or less for just the 4th time for the Bills. Only 4 times since 2024, since the start of 2024, when the turnover battle 3-1. The defense bent but didn't break. Bills were 5-9 on third down, but they held that very dangerous red zone offense of the Bills to 2 of 4. The pass rush was quiet, 1 sack, but still got 5 quarterback hits. Marcus Jones had an interception. It's funny reading these stats of this team because this is a defense that limited James Cook to 49 yards on 15 carries. Cook was held to under 100 yards from scrimmage for the first time this season. Streak of 8 games with a rushing touchdown snapped. Linebacker Calebon Chason was inactive. He's listed as questionable this week. And defensive end Keon White left the game with an elbow injury, and he's listed as questionable this week. Take it away for us, Troy, before we get into the Saints that were, that won the turnover battle 5-0. We were all over them, but we were fortunate. What do you think of the Patriots after beating the Bills? What do you think?
I mean, I kind of planted my flag on this Patriots team on Sunday night. I don't think anybody should be sleeping on this team at this point. They could easily be 4-1, even 5-0 this season. It was a easy strength of schedule outside of the Bills, albeit, but I think it's been very impressive. And the most impressive part for me with this offense, obviously Drake May's been great. Look at his spray chart. Look at his passes in the center of the field. I want to say that that's probably one of the highest correlations for me. How many passes are being thrown in the center of the field versus outside the numbers? Because 38%, that's the sweet spot. That's where the best quarterbacks in the league exist. And he's been great throwing the ball outside the numbers. He's a little quick to leave the pocket, but it's been successful for him. He's had no turnover-worthy plays against the Bills. I don't think he's had any in the past 2 weeks. He's got a healthy A-dot, and I've been saying he has longevity, and I stand by it. But I also think that he's being put in a great spot. They have a pretty rough offensive line. The O-line 31st in pass block. I think Will Campbell's a rising star at left tackle. I think the offensive line is going to improve. But the split backfield with 2 guys that could either block, release for passes, routes out of the backfield, chip and release. Like there's so many things you could do with the split backfield. It's the only time you'll ever see it is watching the Patriots in the NFL. They have 2 quality backs, and I love the way that they're using them. I think it's perfect for Drake May, especially for a young quarterback, because he always has those outlets. Defensively, I think you bring up some compelling points, but there's one thing that kind of slipped your attention, and I think it's really Vrabel that's really driving the improvement of this defense. The effort is obvious. It's noticeable. All 11 hustling to the ball every single snap, and their tackling grade is second in the NFL right now. The return of Christian Gonzalez has clearly made an impact, and they've started to increase their usage of man coverage. Actually, I don't even know if that's true necessarily, because I think Christian Gonzalez is being put in man coverage while there's a lot of zone coverage behind him, because we've seen that this past week as well. I think that Vrabel really got this defense moving in the right direction. I really believe so, and I'm bullish on this Patriots team. And there's like I talked about, like sometimes you want to buy high, sometimes you want to sell low, sometimes you want to sell a team off of a big win, sometimes you want to buy a team off a big win. And I think this is where you want to buy a team, because I think they're showing that they have an ability to sustain the success they're experiencing.
This line, I mean, obviously it's set up to attract Patriots money. We have only 52% of the tickets and 58% of the cash on the Patriots. That's fucking bananas. How is that possible? After watching a team win a turnover battle 5-0 and then watching the other team beat whom we thought was the best team in the AFC, how is this possible? I mean, who's running to the window to bet the Saints? I mean, this is The Saints passing offense 21st, rushing offense 7th, red zone offense 29th, 41.2%, third down offense 21st. Their pass defense is ranked 7th by PFF. Rush defense 15th. Red zone defense is a problem, 27th, 70.6%. Third down defense 18th to 40.4%. This Saints pass rush is the worst ranked pass rush, according to PFF, in the NFL. The first win of the Kellen Moore, Spencer Rattler era, 26-14 at home over the Giants. They won. I don't say that again. Rattler earned his first victory in 11 career starts, 21-31 for 225 yards, touchdown, no interception. He also ran 6 times for 21 yards. The important thing, he didn't turn the ball over, and he didn't take a sack. Rashid Shaheed caught 4 passes for 114 yards and a touchdown. Shaheed's 6th career touchdown reception of 53 or more yards. His 3rd covering at least 68 yards. He's just got wheels, man. Kendra Miller, Alvin Kamara combined to run 18 times for 68 yards, catch by passes for 36 yards, 8 of 16 on 3rd and 4th down, but they were 0 of 3 in the red zone. The defense held the Giants to 3 of 10 on 3rd down, 2 of 4 in the red zone, but it's the Giants. Jordan Howard returned a fumble, 86 yards to the house. Cameron Jordan and Jonas Sanker also recovered fumbles. Kool-Aid McKinstry had 2 interceptions. The pass rush had 1 sack and 5 quarterback hits. Now, safety Justin Reed left the game in the first quarter with concussion symptoms. He is in protocol. Taysom Hill returned, and Foster Moreau returned. They were coming off major knee injuries last season. And those are the 2 guys, Hill and Moreau, who led the Who Dat chant pregame. And, Cesar Ruiz hurt. That hurts them. He's a great guard and can play center, even though they have a Pro Bowl center, McCoy. Their defensive end, Chase Young, inactive. He's been listed they're both listed as questionable this week. So on the one hand, you have I got to fade a team that won the turnover battle 5-0. On the second hand here, the Saints are coming to the stadium this week, excited for the first time in how long, Troy? And they can't wait to get in the facility. They can't wait to get to work. It's crazy. I don't know how to move on this game. I hear you're interested in the under. Talk to us about the Saints and if you're moving on this game.
The Saints, I feel like, are on the opposite side of the spectrum than the New England Patriots. I think I have seen improvement from Rattler year over year, but very few signs point to him being a franchise quarterback. One of the reasons he's extremely inaccurate throwing the deep ball, which was one of their touchdowns. So they had a defensive special team touchdown, and they had an outlier throw to Shaheed for whatever it was, 70, 80 yards. I mean, this guy cannot throw the deep ball. He cannot score in the red zone. He was 0 for 3 in the red zone, like you talked about. They benefited from turnovers and one big throw from Rattler. It's not enough to really move the needle, in my opinion. And their offensive line has been terrible. Now, they have been able to block the run, but we know the Pats can defend the run. We talked about that a lot last week. And the defense for the Saints, I do think that the numbers don't reflect their ability to perform. I do think their defense is underrated because of their strength of schedule, being up against the Bills, the Seahawks, the Niners, and a healthy Cardinals team at that moment with the blankie in the backfield. But I still think it is, even though it's underrated, I still think it's a below average unit. So I think the Saints have a very low ceiling on offense with Rattler at quarterback. I think their defense is below average. And we talked about this. Birdie was talking about this in the chat. I cannot get over the 3.5 market. So why do I filter it down to teams that open and close between 3 and 3.5? Because it indicates that there's sharp action on both sides. Sharp's hitting it at 3.5. Sharp's hitting the Patriots at 3. And the history of this market overwhelmingly favors the Patriots, the road team in this case. And even when you filter it down, right? So I'm looking at a 72% ATS trend in the baseline profile. Well, what happens if we filter it down to when all the action's on the road team? You get 72%. Like, it's a very balanced sample. There's not a variable that's going to throw this out of whack and all of a sudden flip this profile negative for me. This was a very easy bet for me to make. Force Rattler to pass the ball. I think the Patriots are going to be the better team in the red zone on offense. And my only issue is, like you said, a massive win going back on the road. It's hard to be confident in a spot like this, and that's why I'm only going to be investing in one unit. Whereas if it wasn't a Patriots coming off a massive win as a dog, I'd be probably loading up on this spot against the Saints off a win.
So why does PFF have this as the 24th ranked pass defense, the 24th ranked rush defense? We don't need PFF to see that they're the 30th ranked red zone defense. That's just percentage.
Yeah, I talked about that run defense. That the run defense, I completely disagree with the PFF rankings because here's why. the defensive line is not getting off their blocks. I talked about this on Sunday night. They're not getting off their blocks, but they're not losing any ground. They're being very stout. They're not allowing the line to generate yards, offensive line yards on the ground. So they're not getting off blocks and necessarily making the tackles, but they're not giving up ground, which makes running backs move laterally instead of vertically. And so I think the coverage grade, there's definitely some concerns there. But I think that you insert Christian Gonzalez back, and it opens up a plethora of things you could do as a defensive coordinator when you have an island on one side of the ball.
There are only 7 teams ranked worse than the Patriots defensively from PFF. 7. The Jets, the Bears, the Bengals, the Ravens, the Raiders, the Cowboys, and the Dolphins. Do you see them as being a much better defense than what PFF is grading them out to be?
I do, but I do think it's reflected in the line as well. So I don't think I could see a case where you have an edge with the Chargers in the game we just talked about because of perception. I don't think we have that here. I think that the defensive improvement week over week is going to continue, and we see that reflected in the line.
Well, you might have a huge advantage with the Patriots because you think that they're much better than the numbers indicate.
Correct.
I believe I have a huge advantage fading the Chargers because I think they're much worse than the numbers indicate.
Right. Exactly.
So
I don't necessarily disagree with you. I just like the matchup better here. The Dolphins. I just don't know. About that Dolphins team.
AM says Olave and Shaheed finally looked healthy last week. I think the Saints gashed this awful Patriots pass defense to keep a close, clear letdown spot for the Patriots. What is your move in this game?
I bet the Patriots -3 at BetOnline, and I would take a -3 all the way up to -130. There's a lot of books right now where you could take a -3, you could buy a half a point, or you could take an alt line. Always check. Don't just buy the half a point, and you don't just take the alt line. Check the difference between the two because one's going to be -130, one's going to be -125, and there's some that you can get at -120. If you're getting a plus 100 at a book, -3.5, there's a good chance you can get -120 on the 3.
Definitely. Yeah. And what was your vig?
Or -122. I got -120 at BetOnline.
All right. Troy is moving on the Patriots -3 at -120. And you agreeing in the chat with Birdie about the total. Is the under something you're looking at and close to moving on?
The under definitely is the way I would play this game. But the totals, that'd be the way I lean. But I'm not going to be playing totals this week, probably.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Wow. Okay. All right. Let's roll on Troy on the Patriots -3 at -120. I am not close to moving on. I can't, you guys know why I can't back.
I do think that this will be a great candidate to go back to the well with a rushing prop under, especially with Kendre Miller looking better and being used more in running, in the run game than what's his name, the other running back, Kamara. So I think I'm going to be on a rushing prop under in this case. The market hasn't opened yet, so I really can't benchmark it.
What a difference when a guy like Taysom Hill is healthy, leading the pregame chant, just being such a part of the team, the most vocal guy on the sidelines, coming in, throwing that 19-yard pass, being a fullback whenever you need him. I mean, it's just
running wildcat. I mean, picking up short yard down in distances. He's so reliable.
Let's roll on, Troy. I can't wait to talk about this game. 1 p.m. Eastern. Cleveland Browns 1-4, 0-2 on the road. The Pittsburgh Steelers 3-1, 1-1 at home. We're at Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 62 Fahrenheit, sunny, 6-mile-per-hour winds. Let's get into the line history here for this one. Sorry, let me move over here. We have the total. We'll start with this total. It is a 38. Very interesting. The look ahead was 37.5. Came out on Saturday at 2:36 p.m. at 37.5. Then it gets up to 38.5 by Sunday night. Drops back to 37.5 on Monday morning. Jumps back up in the afternoon to 38. And I see a very sharp book right here that is at the 38.5 at a pick'em. And they moved it back to 38.5 at 6:46 p.m. tonight, which is Tuesday, October 7th. I find that extremely interesting, as I don't agree with it. But these very low totals have been going over. The Browns opened up, well, let's go. The look ahead was 6, and the look ahead became 6.5, and then back to 6. Then it reemerges on Sunday night at 7:22 p.m. at 4.5.
So that's the reopen.
Yes. That's it reemerging. Sunday night at 7:22 p.m. It reemerges at 4.5. So if you look at it from that point, this line has moved a full point towards the Steelers. If you look at it from the look ahead, it's moved a half point towards the Browns. And this is part of the fun of what we do. You decide what kind of angle you're going to focus on to back up your action. We always talk about how you can find the angles to back up your play to give you confidence. And you have a choice there. When we get to the cash flow, 58% of tickets, 66% of cash on Pittsburgh, 80% of tickets, and 86% of cash on the over, because we've been watching people cash these low totals. I don't think that's the only reason, but that's part of it. Let's talk about the Browns. Passing offense ranked 22nd. We know that Joe Flacco was traded to the Bengals today. So it's Dylan Gabriel and Shadir Sanders moving forward at this point. 62 Fahrenheit, sunny, 6 miles per hour. Passing offense 22nd. Rushing offense 13th. Red zone offense 10th. Now, they don't get there very often. When they do, they're hitting at 66.7%. Third down offense 28th. They only convert 34.2% of the time. Their pass defense 8th. Their rush defense 1st. Their pass rush 1st. Their red zone defense last. Wild stuff. Their third down defense 24th. The Browns come back from the UK after a tough 21-17 loss versus Minnesota. Gabriel was 19-33 for 190 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He did enough to convince the Browns to trade Flacco. Njoku led receivers with 6 catches for 67 yards and a touchdown. Quinshon Judkins is everything that we said he was going to be. You know, people thought I was way too high on him. And now they don't. Ran 23 times for 110 yards, caught an 18-yard pass. But the Browns were 3 of 15 on third down. Now, they did go 3 of 3 on fourth down. They also went 2 of 3 in the red zone. The defense looked good until the game was on the line. The Vikings drove the length of the field for the winning touchdown. On that 10-play winning drive that started on Minnesota's 20, Wentz was 9 for 9. They held the Vikings for 3 of 9 on third down, but allowed them to go 2 of 2 in the red zone. The number 1 rated pass rush was very quiet. They finished with 3 sacks, 3 quarterback hits, and Myles Garrett was unable to get to the QB. Not a sack, not a hit. And the Browns are as healthy as they've been in a long time. Let's talk about the Steelers coming in off their bye week. Passing offense is the 2nd worst graded passing offense in the NFL. Their rush offense is 24th. Their red zone offense, though, is 8th, and it's helped them very much. They're cashing touchdown 69.2% of the time. Their third down offense, 20th, converting 38.6% of the time. Their pass defense is 21st. Rush defense, 11th. Red zone defense, 16th. Third down defense, 21st. Pass rush, ranked 10th. Very pedestrian average defense, but we have a bias, and they're getting healthier. So maybe we see the return to form of the Steel Curtain. They were last seen in a Week 4 24-21 victory in Ireland over the Vikes. The Steelers are healthy. And look at this division. The Ravens, Browns, and Bengals are a mess. The Steelers are healthy, leading the division. And, you know, Tomlin doesn't want to talk about it. I get it. It looks too easy. Joey Porter Jr. and his hamstring issues look like they expect him to return to the lineup. It'll be his first game, Joey Porter Jr.'s first game since the opener. Alex Highsmith's ankle, he's already back at practice. So Highsmith is going to be back. So what we expect is this defense to be at or near full health for the first time since the first half of Week 1. That's as long as Jalen Ramsey's hamstring is good to go, and we'll get a better idea of that tomorrow. They also get the return the first-round pick, Derek Harmon. Remember, he had the preseason knee injury. He got his first career sack against New England. He batted an important pass against Wentz. So you have Harmon playing everybody back, and now they face Cleveland and Cincinnati in a span of 5 days over the next 2 weeks. And if they can handle this, they should win the division for the first time since 2020. The Aaron Rodgers in this offense has not overwhelmed anybody. I mean, it's not very good, but they've been able to, 10 players have caught passes. They're keeping teams off balance. They have 5 different players with between 10 and 15 receptions. You have Kenneth Gainwell coming off a career-high 99 yards, wanting more action, more plays for him. Jaylen Warren was scratched with a knee injury. He's expected to be back. Pat Freiermuth is not even the number one tight end option right now. It's Jonnu Smith. DK Metcalf being the number one option. So for me, Troy, and I couldn't move on this because I want to hear your take because I know what side you're on, and I want to be on the other side. I want to fade Dylan Gabriel in his first real road game. I want to fade him against Tomlin off of a bye. And I also want to believe in the Browns defense and bet the under. I want all of that. But I want to hear your breakdown badly. Take it away. I love Browns Steelers. I love Brown Steelers games. I love them. I love this fucking defensive football divisional grudge match. I love it. Take it away.
So I first want to find some common ground here. Then if you're thinking about being on the other side, I look at this market as an open of 5.5, between 5.5 and 6. So I'm looking at 10-5, 6:02 p.m. This is after both these teams, after the Browns had played, with a 6 as an opener. So why do you think that it opened at 4.5?
I don't think anybody believes in the Steelers. I think nobody does, and nobody believes in Aaron Rodgers. But you're right. That's a very tricky.
It's tricky. It's really tricky, and that's why I'm pissed off we don't have who to rely on. And it's pretty important in this game. It's really important in this game because it's a market. It's what I would consider the cash cow market if we opened at 6 or above. And I see a lot of books that show an open because this was the Browns played the early game, right? And it opened hours later at 6, but quickly, within minutes, moved to 5.5. Within an hour or two, it moved to 4.5. So it's really tricky trying to figure out where this market opened and where it closed. And it definitely is worth considering. But I look at this matchup alone. And it's one of the reasons I had the Browns on the money line against the Green Bay Packers. Now, I know that was at home, and that means a lot. It means a lot for the Browns defense at home. But when I look at Aaron Rodgers, I just love this matchup. He's significantly worse versus man coverage, and that's been way more evident as he's aged. When he was in Green Bay, even back when he was an MVP caliber quarterback, defenses slowly started to shift. They were only playing man coverage versus this guy. Why do you think that is? It's because he's a really good quarterback. His pre-snap reads, he could read soft spots and zone coverages. And with zone coverage, there's a lot more predictability, right, of where you want to attack pre-flop. That's why teams started to shift, and that's why we've seen his production as a Green Bay Packer start to drop off towards the end of his career, because this shift happened in late 2019. Now, and I went back and looked at this extensively because I was really considering hammering the Browns, but not if I agree that there's a little bit of a gray area here in this market that I don't really trust, because if it was a cash cow, I'd be unloading on this spot right now. In 2024 with the New York Giants versus man coverage, he had a minus 10.2% DVOA, which was good for 31st in the NFL. So it was basically 5 from the bottom. Even worse versus man coverage when it was parlayed with the blitz, which I think we're going to see the Browns do, only you're going to get man coverage. His yard per attempt last year against man coverage dropped by 1.5 yards, and his completion percentage dropped by almost 10%. What about in 2025? Well, he'll really only face one defense that played any significant amount of man coverage, and it was the Seahawks. They used 50% man coverage. A cover 4, cover 6 team decided under McDonald to come out and play man. Why did they do that? Because Aaron Rodgers' history versus man coverage. He faced pressure on 41% of his snaps. The most pressure and most of the pressures in that game, he could be attributed to him, to the quarterback position. He went 18 for 33 for 203 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 58 passer rating, and had a negative EPA per dropback. He only has one quality wide receiver in DK Metcalf that you could rely on to get separation, which makes it very easy to target as a defensive coordinator. And you have Arthur Smith, who I don't think is capable of producing an elite scheme. You got an old man with limited mobility who requires wide receiver separation or an elite scheme. And I don't think he has it either. I think he has one receiver he can rely on in that case. Now, it's not like I think the Browns offense has an edge against this Pittsburgh defense, but I do think Dylan Gabriel is an upgrade from Flacco in the grand scheme of things. I do think they're going to find some success in the running game. I know Highsmith is back. It's going to make a difference. I really believe that this game is going to be closely contested. Yeah, fading a rookie against Tomlin, fading a rookie in his first start on the road against Tomlin sounds like a great spot. But what about Tomlin as a home favorite? What about the Pittsburgh Steelers in general as favorites? They've not been the team that covered over the past few years. They've been one of the worst teams as a favorite over the past few years. And I do think the market's favorable. The Browns have the toughest strength of schedule, which I'll have to show you what PFF says. But if you look at who they've played, you would agree. They've had the toughest strength of schedule year to date. The Steelers, the third easiest strength of schedule. I like the matchup for the Browns defense. And I think the extra time to prepare for the Pittsburgh Steelers, yes, it matters. But to what extent? Because I don't think there's a lot of options for this offense to turn to. Are they going to be able to run the ball? I don't know. I think that there's going to be an old man under a lot of pressure. And a Browns team in a divisional matchup, and I got a +6 at -120. I put 2 units on it, which means I'm going to have to do something else to have that action reflected on this show, because I did move heavily on this Browns team.
The week helps the health of the defense. It's not Arthur Smith is not gonna conjure up some magic with this weak Steelers offense. So then the question I have, we have a question here as well from D Jenkins, which I will ask, but I'll ask D Jenkins' question, which kind of correlates to my question. He says, "Can we get your thoughts on the Steelers team total being 22.5 juice to the over against such a good defense? And what do you think of this total? Because I want to get under it. I want to bet the under here. I want it quite badly, but so far this year, when totals have moved a point or so in the opposite direction, I've not bet them. And generally speaking, like even in the Monday nighter, I moved because of what I was watching, not because of my script. And I moved on the under 44.5, and it was a loser. But that total gone from 44.5 to 45.5. That's why I didn't bet the under pregame. I'm afraid to bet totals when it moves a point in the opposite direction of what I want to bet. So what do you think of the Steelers team total for D Jenkins, and what do you think of the total in general?
Yeah, I want to get under the total as well. I really want to get under the total. Like I said, I'm just so spooked off of totals because whatever. I mean, things just go terribly sideways, 2 back-to-back 70-yard passes go for touchdowns, a pick 6, just nonstop shenanigans. So I don't trust totals anymore. I'm pretty much done with them, but I will say that the over based on the match, or the under based on the matchup, looks extremely enticing.
You still have a 7.78% ROI on every bet as a single unit play here that you've been on this year. And so, but in NBA, now a lot of it was Operation Garcia player props that got me such a great ROI with my full, 700, 800 bets. But I stopped betting totals in NBA and started succeeding and beating it year after year, publicly in front of everybody, beating NBA because I stopped betting totals. So I can understand letting it go, although I do think you have a tremendous edge because of your history as an All-American wide receiver and your history in the sport, that I don't think that you should forever leave them alone. But because I don't have that history in NBA. I think that totals will beat me in NBA, but I don't think they will in hockey. And so,
I appreciate that. I do appreciate that, because I definitely I can't get out of that mindset where I just abandoned just because of 5 bad weeks with totals, outside of the NFC West.
Do you have it broken down to what you're actually on in totals alone?
I don't, but I know it's negative. I could pull it up right now. Yeah, I'll pull it up.
I mean, it doesn't have to be shared or anything, but
no, it's fine. It's fine. I'm completely willing.
My first total of the year in NHL. It's I played all my life. It's the sport I'm closest to. I went up against the market move in the Pittsburgh Rangers game. I took the under 6. It's 1-0 going into the third. I mean, this is your sport, and nothing should be stopped.
I have 20. Yeah, so I have 22 bets. I'm down 7.5 units, or 34%, and I've lost 7 totals in a row.
And what were you last year in totals?
Last year in totals, I was much better. Last year, I was in my computer. I have a lot of stuff open right now. It's taking a second to filter down. Wow, last year I was the same, bro. I mean, it was bad. I mean,
Okay.
65 units wagered, down 15 units, down 23%.
Then focus on sides. Yeah, no, I mean, I did that in NBA. But again, you have an intrinsic knowledge of this sport. I want the unders in this, and I feel comfortable betting the Steelers double result. I'm getting plus money on it.
I'm pretty sure actually in 2023, I'm pretty sure it was the exact opposite. Yeah, I had a 25% ROI, plus 16 units on 60 bets. So yeah, I had a good 2023. Maybe I don't know. I got to consider it more. I mean,
yeah, there's lots of season left and lots of time to talk about it. I want unders and I want the Steelers, but I'm not necessarily comfortable in the 5. So I'll have to see how it pans out. Okay, let's roll on. But we have a 2-unit bet from Troy on the Browns plus 6, and was that regular vig minus 110?
No. Plus 6 minus 120.
Minus 120. Okay. And I'm interested in the under and the Steelers. Random Bozo says Tomlin 14-4 off the bye, 26-6 against the rookie quarterback, and he wants the Steelers as a parlay piece.
What's that? Is that ATS?
I'm guessing that's straight up. That has to be straight up. But I that would just be my guess. Random Bozo, is that ATS or straight up? All right, let's roll on. Next up for us, Dallas Cowboys and Carolina Panthers. We're Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. The Panthers are undefeated at home, or they're 2-0, however you want to say it. Cowboys 2-1, 1-2 on the road. Beautiful weather in Charlotte, 67 Fahrenheit, partly sunny, 9-mile-per-hour winds. Let's get into the line history here for this spot. Sorry, let me move this over. We have apologies, and here we go. We have the Dallas Cowboys minus 3.5 at plus 102. The look ahead was 3.5 at a pick'em. It reemerges Sunday morning at 7:58 a.m. at 3.5, juiced minus 120 to Carolina. There was a move towards the Cowboys on Sunday, and it stopped. Now that 3.5 is plus money for Dallas, minus 122 for the Panthers, who feel good about themselves. I know it's just taking out the Dolphins, but they feel good about themselves. We have a total here at 49.5. Cowboys are involved, so it's going to be high. The look ahead was 47.5, and it got bet down to 47. Reemerges Sunday at 7:22 p.m. at 48.5, and has now climbed up to 49.5. When we get to the cash flow for the Cowboys Panthers, we have 68% of the tickets on Dallas and 82% of the cash. We have 88% of tickets on the over and 91% of cash on that over. Vincent Hawkins says over. Coins already moved on Carolina plus 3.5. Says team is different in Charlotte. I was on them against the Dolphins, and I believed what we saw against the Falcons. I down 17-0 with some bad breaks, and they really stormed back. We'll get in the Panthers second. Let's talk about the Cowboys. Their offense is being extremely good. Passing offense ranked 3rd, rushing offense ranked 3rd, red zone offense 9th, touchdown 68.4% of the time, third down offense 9th, converting 43.3% of the time. Pass defense, rush defense terrible. Pass defense 28th, rush defense last. Red zone defense 24th, third down defense last. Pass rush 16th, coming in off an impressive 37-22 victory at the Jets. Dak Prescott was 18-29 for 237 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. He also ran 7 times for 28 yards, 1 sack, and 3 hits. That's all he took in front of or behind an offensive line, missing 4 starters. Left guard Tyler Smith with the knee injury. Left tackle Tyler Guyton with the concussion. Right guard Tyler Booker with the ankle injury. And center Cooper Beatty with the foot injury all out. Right tackle Terrence Steele was the only regular starter playing. And I think we should touch on their injuries right now. So Booker and Guyton could return this week. So Tyler Smith, no. Cooper Beebe, no. But Tyler Booker and Tyler Guyton could return this week, and that's pretty important. Ryan Flournoy caught 6 passes for 114 yards. Jake Ferguson caught 7 for 49 and 2 touchdowns. 41 catches this season. So he's the 4th tight end with at least 40 receptions in the team's first 5 games. He joined Zach Ertz in 2018, Eric Johnson of the Niners in 2004, and Hall of Famer Antonio Gates, Chargers in 2007. Of course, we talked about Ferguson being in a contract here. Javonte Williams ran for 135 yards and a touchdown, also caught a TD pass. I never expected him to be this great. It's hard to imagine why he was so bad before. The offense put up 7.1 yards per play, was 3 of 4 in the red zone. The defense looked strong. Jets had 6 points through 3 quarters. It was 30-6 in the 4th quarter before the Jets did anything offensively. Jack Sanborn, linebacker, left in the first half with a concussion. He's in protocol. And wide receiver Jalen Brooks injured a knee early in the 4th quarter. For the Panthers, their passing offense 20th, their rushing offense 10th. Now, obviously, Rico Dowdle had a big part of that. Red zone offense 10th, third down offense 18th. It's a pretty good offense. Passing defense ranked 22nd, rush defense ranked 13th, red zone defense 21st, and third down defense 13th. Pass rush is very weak. There's only 3 teams ranked worse than the Carolina Panthers rush defense. And let's talk about them remaining undefeated at home. Coming back from 17 points to defeat the Dolphins 27-24. The 17-point comeback equaled a franchise record. It's the 4th time they've done it. Bryce Young was 19 of 30 for 198 yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. He also lost a fumble. Rico Dowdle. Caught a Rico. First start replacing Chuba Hubbard. Dowdle ran 23 times for 206 yards while catching 3 for 28. Came within 5 yards of breaking the franchise single-game rushing record held by D'Angelo Williams. Hubbard listed as questionable this week again. Panthers outgained the Dolphins 418-248. They outgained the Dolphins on the ground 239-19. Tedero McMillan caught 6 passes for 73 yards, 7 of 13 on 3rd and 4th down. The Panthers went. The defense held the Dolphins to just 4.7 yards per play. And the 29th ranked pass rush managed 3 sacks. Now, they're missing defensive tackle Tershawn Wharton. They're missing a cornerback in Smith Wade, and they're missing Jatavian Sanders, a tight end. They're all inactive. All this is questionable this week. Take it away for us here, Troy. Cowboys, Panthers.
Oh, this is a tough game, but it's easy for me to get to a side here because once again we're looking at the 3.5. Now this one's not as certain that it's going to land between those 2 parameters, but you already know I'm bullish on the road favorites in these markets, and I think this Cowboys are laying this type of number is telling. I mean, the bookies are higher on this Cowboys team than the market. I know the defense is subpar, but let's start talking about Dak Prescott being one of the best, if not the best quarterback in the league. You got a Panthers team who's 2-3 despite having the 5th easiest schedule in the league. The Jags, the Cards, Falcons, Pats, Dolphins, not very impressive. Cowboys 2-1 with a very polarized schedule, being that they had the Packers, they had the Eagles, then you got the Giants, you got the Jets, you got a kind of lower middle of the pack team in the Bears. The difference with this Panthers team this season has been the offensive line has been performing. Now, it was pretty damn good last year too. But this year, it's been definitely another level, especially in the run game. What they were able to do on the ground with Chuba Hubbard was damn impressive. And Bryce Young, this is a great matchup for him. I mean, we're looking at this extremely high total for a reason. Bryce Young is way better versus zone coverage. You look at completion percentage, you look at EPA per play, you look at passer rating, you look at his big-time throw rate. I mean, it explodes. All the numbers explode for zone coverage. And mostly because why zone is because I think his weapons are way better served for zone coverage than man coverage and creating separation. But the Panthers defense is terrible. Absolutely dreadful, in my opinion. I don't care what they were able to do in 1-2 quarters or one game alone. The secondary has been their strong suit, surprisingly solid, but the defensive front is a travesty. Derek Brown is elite, but everyone else is well below average, bottom of the barrel on the defensive front. The Panthers, like I said earlier in one of the caps, they only apply pressure on 7% of dropbacks. That's 3 times lower than the average in the NFL. It is not a good formula when you're playing an elite quarterback, which Dak has become. And the Cowboys, the handicap remains until I'm proven differently about their defense. They jumped out to a big lead against the Jets. I don't think the defense is necessarily that good. And I don't think there's a lot of optimism for improvement under Eberflus. But I do believe that the offense alone warrants this number at 3.5. I think both teams are fade-worthy situations. Both teams off big wins. The matchup favors both offenses if you're looking for a total. I don't know how high you can get it. And I think the market favors the Cowboys. If I had to play this game, I would only be on the Cowboys, but I'm not very confident in it because I think that we could get a drastic move in this market.
I don't. I'm gonna do some work with PFF as I'm not too comfortable with the site. What was the score from PFF? The sound, the noise score.
Noise adjusted score in the Panthers game.
Yeah, because it was a fluke that they were down 17-0.
No, it's still pretty damn impressive. 30-21, Carolina Panthers.
Exactly. It was a complete fluke. They were down 17-0. See, it's interesting because I lean towards backing the Panthers. I think the hook is helpful. I think the Panthers keep this close. You were also talking, and I know that we've been discussing totals, and you're in year 2 of not wanting to move on them, but you were stating that if that wasn't the case, you would want the over. You agree with this move from 47.5 to 49.5?
Yeah, I think it's starting to escape the range where I'm comfortable with it now that it's moved above 48 and 49 for that matter. I don't see much resistance on this line. So, I mean, I don't see much resistance on this number until we get to 50, 51 and a half. So 51 and a half. So I'd bet it now if you're looking to bet the over, but it's hard to bet overs in this market as well because of the history of it.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned.
I bet the under in the Cowboys game last week, and I thought I made a sharp bet until just an offensive explosion and deep throws. I actually think the Cowboys had a pretty telling. So the Cowboys in their game, the noise canceled score in that game, 39-31.
Wow, I didn't. But I mean, the Jets scored so many points in garbage time. It's a.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, especially when you have an automated process. Like I don't know how much the garbage time is factored in here. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't. I'm personally not going to pay attention to that one.
A score that accounts for how efficiently the offenses move the ball, putting less emphasis on noisy things such as turnovers, special team swings, and obviously it's kind of saying big plays in this case, and the Cowboys had a few of them.
And they're counting what happened in the fourth quarter as if it happened in the second quarter.
Right, as if they were moving the ball. That's what it looks like here.
That's not what okay, I'm interested in the Panthers. I'm interested in I don't want to pay too much for the hook, but I would need the 3.5. But I'm interested in the Panthers here. Let's roll on and
I know all these dogs at 3.5. They look so good, man. They look so good.
And Birdie says Carolina and the over for him. Says anything below 50 is great in his opinion. Okay, I'm interested. I think I move. I'm going to study and sit with the over, but I do think I want the pay. I want the 3.5 in my pocket come game time. Let's roll on to the next spot on the board. 1 p.m. Eastern. Seattle Seahawks 3-2, 2-0 on the road. The Jacksonville Jaguars 4-1, 3-0 at home at Everbank Stadium, Jacksonville, Florida. I guess now you can call it Trevor Bank Stadium. You couldn't last year. 73 Fahrenheit, mostly sunny, 6 mile per hour winds. An impressive performance by Trevor on his 26th birthday. We have Jacksonville -1. The look ahead was a pick'em. It opens up this morning at 8:44 a.m. here with Jacksonville -1.5. And we have a half-point move towards the Seahawks since it reemerged. From a total standpoint here, we have where is it? Here we go. We have a 46.5. The look ahead was 45 and it dropped down to 44, all with the look ahead. Reemerges on Sunday night, 9:17 p.m. at 44.5, and now we're at 46.5. And I get it. I mean, Seattle did not look good here. So let's talk about the Seahawks. An ugly performance, 38-35 home loss to the Buccaneers, 889 yards of combined offense in that one. The Seattle offenses look great. Their passing offense is second. Their rushing offense ranked fifth. Their red zone offense is fifth. They score touchdowns 72.2% of the time. Their third down offense is eighth. Their pass defense got abused against the Buccaneers, and it's ranked 20th. Their rush defense ranked sixth. Red zone defense ranked sixth at 52.6%. Their third down defense 23rd at 42.9%. And their pass rush is ranked 13th. Aubrey here is on Seahawks money line. So the Seahawks come in off an ugly 38-35 home loss to the Buccaneers. Darnold was 28-34 for 341 yards, 4 touchdowns, interceptions. Spectacular. Jackson Smith-Njigba, 8 catches for 132 yards and a touchdown, only to be outplayed by his Ohio State friend, Emeka Egbuka. Kenneth Walker ran 10 times for 86 yards, and Jalen Milroe had a costly fumble. Seahawks put up 8.6 yards per play. I don't remember a team really. I mean, I know it's happened, but a team putting up 8.6 yards per play, going perfect 4 for 4 in the red zone, going 7 of 10 on 3rd and 4th down, and losing.
Well, all it takes is a Jalen Milroe muff pitch and a interception off the helmet of somebody. That'll do it to you.
Before the game started, Seattle's defense had allowed the 3rd fewest points in the NFL. But no DeMarcus Lawrence, no Julian Love, no Devin Witherspoon. Seahawks just couldn't slow down the Bucs. Now, Lawrence and Witherspoon are expected to practice this week, so that will be a big boost to the Seahawks defense. They are going to wait until the end of the week to see if Julian Love can get back on the field. It sounds like it won't happen. Linebacker Derek Hall sustained an oblique injury, and cornerback Reek Woolen was evaluated for a concussion. So Derek Hall is expected to miss the game this week. And Reek Woolen, this is interesting, is supposedly getting through protocol very quickly. So there's a pretty good chance that Reek will be on the field on Sunday. They need these guys. Bucs went 7-11 on 3rd down, put up 370 yards through the air. Bucs went 4 of 6 on the red zone, and their 13th-ranked pass rush was nowhere to be found. Seahawks had 1 sack and 2 quarterback hits. Talk about the Jags. Their passing offense ranked 24th, rushing offense ranked 15th, the red zone offense 21st, and 3rd down offense 22nd. Well, they put up 31 points at home versus the Chiefs defense. Their passing defense ranked 2nd, rush defense ranked 8th, red zone defense ranked 9th, 57.1% of the time they allow touchdowns. But their 3rd down defense is 3rd worst in the NFL, and their pass rush is ranked 23rd. Jags coming off a short week after an extremely impressive 31-28 victory at home over the Chiefs, snapped an 8-game losing streak to the Chiefs, matched their win total from last season. And Trevor Lawrence, 18-25, 221 yards, touchdown, interception, ran 10 times for 54 yards and 2 touchdowns, including that game winner with just 23 seconds left. He did lose a fumble trying to get across the goal line there. Brian Thomas Jr. caught 4 for 80. Etienne ran 12 times for 49 yards, caught 3 passes for 9 yards. You nailed that bet, fading Etienne. The 23rd ranked pass rush was quiet again. 0 sacks. They did get 4 quarterback hits. It's so funny because I talked about how I think a lot of turnovers are luck. And I really believe that. I think a lot of them are luck. And I said that about the Jags, and Devin Lloyd returns an interception 99 yards to the house for the decisive turning point in the game and to stab me in the throat. It was the longest interception return in regular season history by a linebacker. It is his league-leading 5th takeaway. Travis Hunter made 2 big plays. Had the 4th longest reception by a rookie this year, 44-yarder. Brenton Strange left the game in the first half with a hip injury and did not return. Also, they played without Trayvon Walker with surgery last Monday to repair an injured left wrist. And center Robert Hainsey hurt his hamstring. He's listed as questionable this week. Take it away here for us, Troy. Seahawks, Jaguars in Jacksonville, Florida.
I feel like it's pretty obvious as to the way I'm going to go in this game just based on how I bet these spots last week. I was on the Seahawks, who I think should have won that game if not for a Milroe fumble and an interception that deflected off the helmet on the last drive of the game. And I think the Jags lose if not for an outlier 105-yard pick, 6 against the Chiefs. Now, there is some other plays like the goal line fumble, like you had mentioned. So you maybe take that away. Still right there at the end of the game. Could have went either way. I do think the Seahawks were in a better position to win that game than the Jags. Trevor Lawrence made me eat my words. Not only did Trevor Lawrence make me eat my words, but I guess the Jags just shoved it up my ass from both sides of the ball. And like you were talking about with the being stabbed in the throat, that's what it felt like, because I was way more confident that the defense was going to be the quality group out of the two between the Jags offense and Jags defense. Fortunately, the Jags defense got exposed, but they still had that game-altering play with the pick 6, and the Jags offense looked great. Best game of the season by far, despite 2 boneheaded plays from Trevor Lawrence, which you're going to get because he has that Geno Smith DNA just a little bit. He handled the blitz extremely well. And how do you do that? By using his legs. He created plays in both the passing and the run game with his legs. And I don't think they're ready for that because we haven't seen that so far this season. I mean, I really feel like Trevor Lawrence was the first time he was a net positive for his team. The Seahawks, this is the number one offense per PFF, and they have all the elements of a quality, sustainable offense. They have a great scheme. The utilization of their weapons is elite, in my opinion. And they have the weapons that can beat both man or zone coverage, depending on how you want to slice it. They have a quarterback who developed into a quality veteran. Look at the spray chart. Lowest turnover-worthy play rate in the NFL. He knows how to play situational football. That only mistake he made all game was that interception. And was it really a mistake? He tried to ground the football 5 yards in front of his receiver. It just had bounced off the defensive lineman's helmet. I feel like the guy played a perfect game against a pretty tough scheme to deal with when you're looking at Todd Bowles' defense. And the offensive line, I think that they're being schemed into good positions. I'm not quite sure how great they really are. Got to pay a little bit more focus to that. And the Seahawks played, I mean, really, the first time they were tested, they failed miserably. And you got to give a lot of credit to Baker Mayfield, who the third down miracles. I mean, week in and week out on third down, this guy is just an absolute savage. No problem fitting in the tight windows, scrambling, using his legs. I don't think it's a flash in the pan at this point like I have in weeks past. I think what we've seen from the Seahawks is much more sustainable than what we've seen from this Jaguars team. The offense has been consistent from week to week. The Seahawks defense did fall apart versus the Bucs, but other than that, they have been consistent. If you look at the Jags' offensive and defensive performances throughout the year, I think there's a lot more holes you could poke in it. And I think the Seahawks are built, just like the Chiefs were built to attack this cover 4, cover 6 scheme, throw underneath, short passing game, death by 1,000 cuts. They have Cooper Kupp, who's one of the greatest wide receivers in the game over the past decade against zone coverage and playing underneath. And you got Njigba, who's a dual threat, can beat you underneath over the top. 2 great running backs and a quarterback that's great at situational football, making good decisions. I bet the Seahawks. I bet the money line, and the price I got on the money line was plus 100. And I also got that teaser that we talked about with the Eagles.
Seahawks plus 100 for Troy. So, Troy, when you look at the board and you see 89% of the tickets and 94% of the cash on the Seahawks, also 92% tickets, 90% cash on the over, but 89% tickets, 94% cash on the Seahawks. How does that make you feel?
I expect that to completely change by Sunday, especially with this line where it currently is. I expect the cash flow to completely change, and I also expect the Seahawks to close as favorites. I don't expect it, but I could definitely. I think it's between 60%, 40%, and 60% of flipping to favorites.
This is a tough one. Need more study for me. Troy on the Seattle Seahawks. We have AM with a trend. Home team last game at home on Monday night. Home team won Monday night. Home team favored by 7 or less. And this is a trend where he says bet the home team on the spread. He says
7 or less. You got to look at shorter than that, man. They're almost dogs. You can't look at 6-point favorites. That doesn't apply.
-7 or less. I mean, are they not favorites right now?
They're favorites, but starting at -7 makes no sense at all. The difference between teams, that's why I like the prices. I'm always I have short. That's why I can't wait for 3 to 5 years, because you have a huge sample to look at specific numbers. But Birdie, I want to answer Birdie because he asked about the noise adjusted score in the Jags game, and it doesn't show. Monday Night Football games we do not get noise adjusted scores for those games for some reason. So
Troy on the Seahawks at plus 100, and Birdie on the over. Birdie says, he bet the over in the Seattle game. He says, no rush on the side. I don't think the public's betting Sam Darnold off a loss against the Jags winning versus Kansas City. Let's roll on. Next up for us, 1 p.m. Eastern, we have the Los Angeles Rams 3-2, 1-1 on the road. The Baltimore Ravens 1-4, 1-2 at home, M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. 65 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 11 mile per hour winds. I mean, it's pretty certain that Lamar is not coming back this week. It hasn't fully been confirmed, but judging from everybody's expectation, he's not coming back this week. This total is a 44.5. There was no look ahead. This came out on Sunday night, 9:17 p.m. at 45, and it actually went up to 45.5 before it dropped to 44, and then came back up to 44.5. So we have a half point move towards the under. From a point spread perspective here, we have the Rams minus 7.5 at minus 105. Opened up at 7, got up to 8, came back to 7.5. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. You know, it reminds me sort of the Bengals coming back home after 2 weeks. It just, what's going to change? What could possibly change here? Let's take a look at the cash flow for this spot. It's 59% of the ticket, 63% of the cash on the Rams. I mean, who is sitting there liking the opportunity? Brady says it looks like Snoop will be behind center for the Ravens, if that matters. I don't know. I think that you can't go back to Cooper Rush. So if Huntley is at quarterback, I think that it might give them a bit of a spark, at least at first. I'm surprised that any tickets are coming in on the Ravens. 65 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 11 miles per hour. We'll start with the Rams. Very angry group, extra rest and prep. Passing offense, first ranked offense. Rushing offense, 23rd. Red zone offense, 24th. They're only getting touchdowns 52.4% of the time. A little surprised by that. Third down offense, 14th. I'm surprised by that as well. Only converting 40.4% of the time. Their pass defense, 5th, and rush defense, 4th. And you could comfortably say, well, we didn't see that against that banged up 49er team, and that'd be valid. Red zone defense, 7th. Third down defense, 8th. Pass rush, 6th. That's a phenomenal statistical base for this Rams defense. Stafford was 30 of 47 for 389 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He did lose a fumble. Devontae Adams caught 5 for 88. Puka Nacua caught 10 for 85 and a touchdown. You guys remember Puka Nacua's first game. Troy said he was a Hall of Famer. You're about to see a Hall of Famer. And I guess it takes a wide receiver like Troy, All-American wide receiver, to be able to judge another wide receiver and realize that he's so special. He now became the first receiver in NFL history with more than 5 catches in his team's first 5 games. Kyron Williams ran 14 times for 65 yards while catching 8 passes for 66 and 2 touchdowns. He also lost a fumble. Rams were 4 of 10 on third down and 3 of 5 in the red zone, but the defense struggled to get the 49ers off the field. Niners were 10 of 21 on third and fourth down. That's with Mac Jones at quarterback. 49ers dominated time of possession, 40-04 to 26-20. And this Rams 6th-ranked sixth-ranked pass rush had just 1 sack. Now, they got 10 hits on Mac Jones, so they did get after him. They held the Niners to 2 of 5 in the red zone, and a lot went wrong. You know, the Rams missed a field goal, had an extra point blocked, fumbled twice in 49er territory. Rob Havenstein and Tyler Higbee, right tackle and tight end, were inactive. And then the Ravens, what a mess. I mean, it's so shocking. It's so shocking. I mean, they played without Lamar Jackson, no Kyle Hamilton, no Roquan Smith, no Marlon Humphrey. We know that Madubuike is gone for the season. They don't have their all-pro fullback Patrick Ricard blocking. No, they don't have their star tackle Ronnie Stanley. It's just an absolute trash heap right now, and it happens so fast. To think that this passing offense is 29th, rushing offense 25th, red zone offense 23rd, third down offense 13th, pass defense 17th, rush defense 2nd worst in the NFL, red zone defense 2nd worst in the NFL, third down defense 27th, pass rush 27th. It's unbelievable. A horrific 44-10 loss at home to the Texans. The Ravens were outgained 417 to 207. Cooper Rush 14 and 20 for 179 yards, 3 picks. Zay Flowers led with 5 catches for 72 yards. Derrick Henry could not save the day. Couldn't do a goddamn thing. He did get a touchdown, but ran 15 times for 33 yards. Ravens were 3 of 8 on third down, and the defense was as bad as the offense. Houston scored on all 8 offensive possessions with Stroud in the game. Texans were 8 of 13 on third and fourth down and 4 of 5 in the red zone. The pass rush finished with 2 sacks and 4 quarterback hits. Troy Torrence, I mean, look, they couldn't do anything with that line last week. You know, there was it was moving back to Baltimore before kickoff. It closed at like a 1. And here it's a 7.5. I mean, how do the Rams not absolutely pulverize this Ravens squad? Take it away.
Oh, man, this is a tough game. I agree with you. How do they not do it? How do they not absolutely hammer this team? Another lifeless, a team that looks completely lifeless like the Jets. And it's just a spot I'm actually spooked off of. I expect, like, it's hard, though. It's hard not to be on the Rams, losing 2 of their last 3. Both these teams had a tough strength of schedule, but the Rams are a true contender as far as I'm concerned based on what we've seen. The offense and the defense grading out top 5, elite coordinator, QB, weapons behind a competent offensive line, an elite pass rush, good run defense, and a good coverage unit. I'm not ready. Like, I'm not going to bail on this Rams team just because of this 2-game skid. I still think this team is a Super Bowl contender, and I think the Ravens are on the exact opposite side of that spectrum right now. They have injuries piling up, and offensively, like, I know the offense will be okay when Lamar returns. I am concerned he lost a step, and I have my doubts with Monken. Like, I've seen some of the schemes he rolled out. It just doesn't make sense. Then they acquire a quarterback who's the exact opposite of Lamar Jackson or Cooper Rush. How does that make sense? How's your offense going to have continuity if you do have an injury? It's like they didn't even plan for this. So I'm not bullish on this. And then you talk about this defense. I mean, this is where the real issue is. Yes, they have injuries. Yes, Matabuke, Roquan, Humphrey, there's injuries. But the real problem is Orr. He should have been fired yesterday. The defense is, there's no complexity. The low blitz rate, they can't generate pressure. He sits in his 3-4. He plays shell defense. It's not going to cut it in the NFL. I would have fired this man a long time ago. Even with the return of Lamar, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to reach the Super Bowl contender.
They can't bring him back, right? They have a bye next week.
No, they can't bring him back. I agree. I'll flip bullish on this Ravens team it's just so bad because, like, you wonder Humphrey is really, really, really bad. So him being injured is probably a net positive. But Orr, man, I just can't imagine. Like, he's just so bad. He's got to be removed from the equation, and I can't be on the Rams in this spot just because of very similar reasons to I am with the Jets. But with the Jets, I could actually put together a game plan, a scheme for the Jets that I believe they will roll out. Here, I have no real, sense of where they're heading. So I'm out on this game completely.
But why? Why are you out? Why wouldn't we just look? They can't bring back. Why would you even bother? Because you have the bye, then you have Bears, Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets, Bengals. All of a sudden, you're over 500. They should let this game go completely. We should take advantage of it, make money off of it, and then bet the Ravens to make the playoffs when they're 1-5 over the bye week. Because they're going to beat the Bears, the Dolphins. They might not beat the Vikings in Minnesota, but I think they will. The Browns, the Jets. All of a sudden, they beat the Bengals. They're 6-5. They have the Steelers at home. They beat them 7-5. They beat the Bengals again. They're 8-5.
Yeah, the only reason is just because of some of the games we've seen with the Rams on the road in the past. But no, that's not even the reason. Like, I guess the only reason is my concern. My concern with just the sheer, like, flood of Rams money that I believe we're going to have in this game. And the Ravens, yes, they've been awful. And it's a perfect spot backing the team off the 2-0. Like, I don't know. I don't want to fight it too much. I want to talk you off it. And you look at the market history, rarely have we seen a market like this. Like, this is one of the most rarest markets in the NFL where a team opens between 6 and 7 and gets pushed up to this extent. Like, it barely happens.
Londo, I wouldn't honestly. And Vincent Hawkins talking about it too. But and I'm not saying you guys are wrong and trust yourselves, but adding the Rams team total over is not what I would do. Just because the Rams could easily turn this into just a business trip, win the game 23-3. So if I was going to double down, I would be doubling down on a double result. I mean, I know that this is. Well, I don't know why this isn't more public right now.
There's 51 games where a team is open between 66 plus 6, or home teams open between +6 and +7. Only 8 of those games has it moved up and above the 7, and between 7 and 10 at that point. Only 8 games. It's insane to me. Like, that's 15% of the games. Like, it's a rare market. You really don't see it. And that should make me bullish, but the history of this market is all in the second half of the season. It's all late. Like, you don't see this early in the season like this.
Don't you feel like the line is set right here because there are some people who think, oh, Lamar could come back? Because I just read an article saying, oh, yeah, he could come back, but they have a bye week next week. It's because this is going to close at 10. It's going to close at 9.5 because they're going to announce Lamar's out. It's going to move 2 more points. This is an in-between. Don't you think this is an in-between because they're a little bit concerned that Lamar comes back? Which he's not. But I mean, I don't have that inside information.
I agree. I don't think he's coming back this week. I'd bet on it that he's not coming back this week.
Yeah, I've got to do this. I mean, I don't want to put myself in too vulnerable a situation, but I've got to do this. I know it's gonna be so public and so it's one of those bets that you just want to make. You don't want to talk about, but you think you're gonna cash, and that's the Rams for me here. And so it'll be a double result, and probably just the minus 7.5 or I don't even think you need to pay for the 7. I don't see the point of it. But I'm not going to bet the team total over, even though I don't think you guys are wrong to like it. It's just okay. Let's roll on. I am going to move.
It gets pretty quick for us, I'm sure, because this afternoon slate is pretty ugly.
Well, let's roll into it. 4:05 p.m. Eastern. We have the Tennessee Titans 1-4, 1-2 on the road at the Las Vegas Raiders 1-4, 0-2 at home. Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's get into the line history here for Titans Raiders. We have the Raiders right now minus 4.5. The look ahead was 6. The look ahead bounced around but came back. Oh no, I guess it closed. The look ahead closed to 5.5. Reemerges Sunday night at 6. Gets up to 6.5. And then what the hell happens? Then a huge move towards the Titans. And now we have a 4.5. So since it reemerged, we've had a 1.5 move towards the Tennessee Titans. On the total here, we have a 41.5 minus 115 to the under. That's the look ahead was exactly there. It's moved 5 cents since the look ahead. It reemerges on Monday just after midnight. So Sunday night, Monday morning at 41. So it's come to half point since it reemerged. We have the cash flow for Titans Raiders. We have 54% of the tickets and 64% of the cash on the Raiders. This line's moved towards the Titans. 80% of tickets on the over and 91% of cash on the over. So the Titans passing offense 30th, rushing offense 27th. Ugly. Red zone offense 44.4%. Their third down offense is the worst in the NFL, 29%. It's ugly offense. The very pedestrian defense, passing defense 14th, rush defense 17th, PFF grades, red zone defense 12th, 57.9%, third down defense 17th at 39.4%, and their pass rush is ranked 17th. The Titans coming off their first win of the season, a miraculous 22-21 victory at Arizona. So many things had to happen just the right way. Cam Ward was 21-39 for a career high 265 yards, didn't throw a touchdown, threw a pick. And in the final quarter, he went 13 of 18, which is not great, but he threw for 193 yards with the game on the line. It's a good sign. Calvin Ridley caught 5 for 131. Tony Pollard ran 14 for 67, also lost a fumble. The defense held the Cardinals to 7-16 on third down, allowed the Cardinals to go 3 of 4 in the red zone, still came away with the victory. Kyler Murray had just 192 yards through the air. Pass rush finished with 3 sacks, 6 quarterback hits. Tyjae Spears made his season debut, dealt with the ankle injury. And J.C. Latham missed his 4th straight game, the Alabama tackle. Linebacker James Williams left in the second quarter. Wide receiver Treylon Burks, collarbone, cleared for all football activities Monday. Does that mean he's going to be in the lineup? I don't know, but Treylon Burks would probably help this pretty weak receiving core that Calvin Ridley leads. Let's talk about the Raiders. God, they're just fucking trash. I mean, the Bears loss felt so bad, watching that together, you and I, before the live stream, watching the kick get blocked. But this felt worse. Just embarrassing. Just what kind of ass clown bets the Raiders in Indianapolis? Me. This is the worst passing offense in the NFL. How is that possible with Geno Smith? I guess it's just Starting to get old in the tooth, man. Rushing offense 17th. Red zone offense second worst in the league at 35.7%. Third down offense 16th at 40.3%. Pass defense ranked third worst in the NFL. Rush defense 23rd. Red zone defense 12th. They only allow touchdowns 57.9% of the time. Third down defense 28th, and their pass rush ranked 27th. That was just a horrific 46 loss to the Colts. They've now lost 4 straight. Geno Smith was 25 of 36 for 228 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. Trey Tucker caught 4 for 62. Genty ran 14 for 67, caught 5 for 42. It's hard to believe that the Raiders went 8 of 14 on third down, but 0 of 4 in the red zone. The defense could do nothing to slow the Colts down. The Colts were 8 of 10 on third down and 6 of 6 in the red zone. The pass rush was invisible. 0 sacks and 4 quarterback hits. That's the first time that the Raiders have failed to record a sack in 40 games. It's the longest active streak in the NFL. Their punter, A.J. Cole, suffered a right ankle injury on a blocked punt, went to the locker room, forced their Daniel Carlson to handle punting duties. He had 1 punt and it went 30 yards. He also missed a 57-yard field goal. Brock Bowers with a knee injury. He's week to week. But Michael Meyer with a concussion protocol and quarterback Eric Stokes' knee were inactive, but they could be back this week. Possible. Their list is questionable. I can understand this not being an appealing spot, man. Titans, Raiders. Troy, take it away.
Oh, this game is really, really tough. Okay, so I'm going to be quick with this one. If it wasn't for the market, I would have no idea what to do with this game. Both teams are 1 of 4. Raiders are slightly better on offense. The Titans are slightly better defensively. Both teams are poorly coached. Geno Smith is more prone to turnovers, but the Raiders will be better in the trenches. Raiders off a loss, Titans off a lucky win. Makes me want to lean the Raiders, but the market itself is forcing my hand. I'm not going to go into depth with X's and O's because there's not a lot of science to this bet. I'm going to let the market completely drive my action in this game. Now, the problem with I did move on the Titans plus 4.5, and I got a pretty good number. I bet the Titans plus 4.5, or actually I bet the Titans plus 5.5 minus 110 at FanDuel. So the public books still have this open at 5 or still have this available at 5.5. And depending on how you quantify this market, this line opened at 6 or more. It's closing below 6. Usually this is a spot where I'm betting the money line, I'm betting the spread, but I don't believe in the Titans at all. And the sample itself, I'm hard-pressed to find a team that's of the Titans caliber or the Raiders caliber that was laying this amount of points in the first place. The only few games I could look at and point to and be like, this looks weird. How about the Giants at home versus the Texans where this happened? Well, the Giants won by 8 points. What about, there's not a lot. Like what? The Saints against the Panthers in 2023? The Saints won by 22. The Jaguars at home against the Panthers? The Jags won by 26. Like the bad teams in this sample seem to get the job done. So I'm just perfectly comfortable with 1 bet on this game. I'm taking the Titans. Don't love it, but I got to do it.
Makes sense. And by the way, Birdie saying that Treylon Burks was given his walking papers today. Isn't that what a what a tough business. Guy rehabs. The collarbone injury, gets healthy and fucking bounced. I get it. I just I believe now that having any investment in a Raiders game is optional misery. If I fade them and they play to a level that we had thought, a competent level that we had expected of them, and they beat the Titans, because the Titans victory we know was extremely fluky.
Completely fluky.
So if that happens, if the Raiders do beat the Titans and I'm on Titans, it'll just throw me for a loop that I can barely handle.
Noise adjusted score: Cardinals 26, Titans 19.
Well, it's a little closer than I thought.
Look at this points. That's pretty. It's pretty wide. They covered, or did they?
Birdie's alting the line. Titans minus 6.5. Wow. All right. I mean, yes, that's obviously the play, but I don't fade teams in buy low spots. I can't, or I don't sell them this low. And maybe buy the Titans high. I think you guys are probably on the right track, and you're probably going to cash. I'm not doing it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I can't sell the Raiders after this 40-6 loss. You guys are probably right. I can't do it. I'm not going to back them. Let's move on. 4:25 p.m. Eastern with the Cincinnati Bengals 2-3, 1-2 on the road to the Green Bay Packers 2-1-1, 2-0 home, Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. You guys, you're talking about what you guys want to use for Survivor. I don't know how you look past this game.
I know why. Joe Flacco.
Flacco comes back. Do we even think Flacco starts right away?
I don't think so. How does he pick up the playbook, which is completely different? Like it's not close.
I don't think Flacco starts right away. My heart was broken though. Didn't you think that the Ravens were going to bring him back? Now, AM says Flacco adds an interesting element to this game. Birdie says just bet the over in the game. So let's roll here. Lambeau Field, Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's beautiful. 70 Fahrenheit, partly sunny, but we have 12-mile-per-hour winds. Let's get into the line history here. So that means, AM, you think Flacco plays. Can you guys tell me in the chat if you think he plays? Because I don't think he plays this week. I think he plays... I think
unless what's his name's offense is just literally that bare. How do you pick up the playbook? Did you ever hear an NFL play call?
Yeah, maybe Flacco is so experienced that he can handle it.
True. I mean, I wasn't coming in here expecting Flacco to play. I thought he would not play in this game, but I would not put it past him.
Birdie says Flacco is playing. He would put at 80%. So that's what he's reading. Okay, well, that's crucial. 44.5 was the total on the look ahead. It reemerged, and it dropped a half point before, and then it reemerges right back at the 44.5. So nothing untowards here with the total. Let's take a look at the point spread. This point spread is sitting right now at 14. Packers are minus. The look ahead was 13.5. It comes out on Sunday night at 7:12 p.m. at 14.5, a point more. Bounces around, goes up to 15, drops to 14, up 14.5, back to 14. It's a big number. Let's take a look at the cash flow then for this one. Here we go. We have no information on the total, but we know 59% of the tickets and 51% of the cash. 59 and 51 on Green Bay. So, I mean, that's shocking, completely shocking. I guess it's just too many points would be the thought. Bengals coming off a 37-24 home loss to the Lions. Again, Troy, for me, it's doubling down on all my totals. And so that requires two things. I have to have conviction because it's going to be 2 units. I don't split up a unit. So I have to have conviction to put 2 units on all my totals. And the first half was such a sleepy. It was exactly what I thought was going to happen. And then the Lions stopped trying defensively. The Bengals put up a bunch of points, and the full game goes over. And I lose a little bit of vig. And I'll take that any day of the week here in that 37-24 home loss to the Lions. I don't know how much we want to get into the passing offense. It was 26th. The rushing offense, though, is last in the NFL. And that's not going to change. Their red zone offense is 4th. That makes very little sense for the Bengals, 72.7%. I guess they're never there. Sort of like the Browns last year had such a great red zone percentage, but we're never there. Third down offense, 25th. Their pass defense, 26th. Their rush defense, 26th. Their red zone defense, 28th. Their third down defense, 29th. Their pass rush ranked 15th. It's terrible. This defense is terrible. They have dropped 3 straight by a combined total of 113 to 37. And 21 of those points were in garbage time and shouldn't have mattered anyways. They were down 28-3 after 3 quarters, and I expected to catch the full game under as well. Browning was 26 of 40 for 251 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks. I don't care that he threw 3 touchdowns. Maybe it gives him a little bit of confidence. He ran 4 times for 31 yards. They pick up Flacco. They cut Brett Rippon. Jamar Chase caught 6 passes for 110 yards and 2 touchdowns. Andre Yoshivas caught 5 passes for 82 yards. Samaje Perine and Chase Brown combined for 12 carries for 54 yards, 9 catches for 23 yards. What the hell happened to my guy Chase Brown? Maybe you just load the box because you know that Brownie can't hurt you. But he wasn't playing well even when Burrow was healthy. The Bengals were just 4 of 11 on third down, 2 of 2 in the red zone. I don't care. The defense tried to keep the Bengals in. It held the Lions to 2 of 8 on third down, but Lions were 5 of 6 in the red zone. Pass rush had 4 sacks, 7 quarterback hits, which is a shock. Then we talk about these Green Bay Packers coming off their bye week. Their passing offense ranked 5th. Their rushing offense ranked 14th. Their red zone offense 7th. Their third down offense number 1, tied with the Eagles. Again, the Eagles went 2 for 11, and it brought their number down. Now they're tied with the Packers. Passing defense 3rd. Rush defense 16th. Red zone defense 14th. Third down defense 4th. And their pass rush is ranked 4th in the NFL. Brady says Jimmy might change. The one thing we know about Flacco is he will target Chase 15 times. So I suspect the Packers will make that the focus defensively, and then they might have some success in the run game. So the Panthers coming off their bye week. We saw them in a 40-40 tie at Dallas in week 4 that felt like a horrific loss to them. They're angry. Dubs, though, had a career high 3 touchdowns. He has the same amount of touchdowns he had all of last year, and Christian Watson has returned to practice. So that will help them a lot. They came in to that game against Dallas having allowed the fewest points in the NFL. Then Dallas scores touchdowns on 5 of their last 7 drives. And despite the Cowboys missing, at that time, 2 starting offensive linemen and a 4-time Pro Bowl receiver. I mean, it was a big slap in the Packers' face. So 1 week after the Browns held them to 81 yards on 31 carries, the Packers rushed for 164 yards on 35 attempts. Now you could blame that on how weak the Cowboys' rush defense is. Packers were 10 of 14 on 3rd down, 101 on 4th down. And now they're getting healthier, but we need to figure out exactly what's going on with Zach Tom with the quad injury, Eric Banks with the groin injury, and offensive tackle Anthony Belton with the ankle injury. They've been out for a while, so we'll get that Wednesday injury report. Devontae Wyatt left with a knee injury, and cornerback Nate Hobbs is in concussion protocol, but we assume he's out of it by now. Is there anything at all that interests you in Bengals Packers, Troy?
Absolutely not. Flacco coming in that just throws a wrench in everything. If he's going to start this week, I think we're going to see this number change pretty significantly. Packers coming off extended rest, time to prepare, pretty much 3 weeks straight without a win going up on the board. The spread is massive, rightfully so, because Jake Browning is absolutely terrible. The offensive line for the Bengals is even worse. 29th in pass block, 32nd in run block, and go watch them. Go watch them try to block a run. I bet on this team this past week. I immediately regretted that when I saw the offensive line get stalemated. At the very best, they got stalemated every single down. And early season favorites, they get the early season double-digit favorites, usually get the job done, especially in non-conference, surprisingly. I guarantee you I will not have a bet in this game.
So I changed my Survivor plan. And, interestingly enough, the original plan, Troy, that I had was to have the Bills against the Patriots. But I changed that plan when Burrow got hurt, and I decided I'm just going to follow the Bengals around. So I expect it to be.
It's a hell of a plan.
Well, to say I wouldn't be in it anymore if this whole thing hadn't have happened. So I'm going to follow the plan, and I'm going to take the Packers and Survivor. Only 14 of us left in the Pub Sports Radio Survivor. I won it 2 years ago. I want to win it again. The Survivor pays out way more than the Cappers contest if you win it alone, because there was 3 of us. Remember your homie Loshak and I.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of money on the line. I was trying to think about how to handle it, and then I got myself because you just need a route to the cash, and I found that route, and it worked out for me. I was fortunate.
And it came from Talon, these clear fades around until Flacco gets substantiated, and then you can stop doing that when they face the Bears in Week 9.
I have it.
The Jets in Week 8.
I don't know how everybody else handles their Survivor, but I plan it out. I look at it every day. I
gotta get my act together. I mean, I have a negative. I have a loser mindset when it comes to anything tournaments. I'm like, or like a lot of buy-ins, only one or a few for me.
Yeah, you're a cash game.
I suck at those things.
Some people don't try hard enough in them. They think they're just for fun.
Yeah.
Nothing is for fun.
It's fun losing $200.
It's fun fucking winning.
Yeah.
So I expect to be on the Packers in Survivor, but it does throw a bit of a wrench in the plan because Flacco's there. All right. It's all about the root. Yeah, Donut Silks. And he's got Green Bay as well. Okay, so that's the only thing I'm interested in here. I need to find out if Flacco will be in. Birdie says it would probably be a good strategy not to give away your strategy. Hey, Birdie, I gave it away 2 years ago and took all the money. So, look, I've been trying to put money in everybody's pockets, fading the Chargers, and people are laughing at me.
Just wait till he shows up with the Eagles as a survivor and the Bengals win outright. And then he laughs.
This early still, man. It's early. When it gets a little tighter, I might shut up. But here, anybody can do what I'm doing, and the pool's warm, man. Let's roll on. Next up for us, 4:25 p.m. Eastern, the San Francisco 49ers 4-1, 3-0 on the road at Tampa Bay Buccaneers 4-1, 1-1 at home. And WT says not here. JTB, the Chargers are money. See, it's fun. Look, it's so fun. It's more fun that nobody agrees with me, honestly. Like it's if everybody was like, oh, you're right. Here, just being alone on this island saying this is the greatest gambling situation I've been given in years, and people just saying you're wrong is fucking hilarious. No bounce back spots. Chargers are trash, but we're talking 49ers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the first question I have to open up this whole thing, Troy, when do we move on the Buccaneers to win the Super Bowl at 22-1 and to win the conference 11-1?
Right now, it's too late. Last week.
I don't think it's too late. You're getting double digits on the conference and over 20-1. I'm fine with that. They showed me something this week. They showed me that it's possible that maybe nothing is going to get in the way of Baker Mayfield. And it's crazy to say that out loud.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like, he squeezed some balls into tight windows, but how many times do you have to do that before it is reality? Like the Jets defense. Like it's reality at this point.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, WT. You do agree with me. Sorry. I'm so ready to fight everybody over it. Sorry, WT, my man. I'm just fucking ready to fucking lose it on people, I guess. Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. I'm asking all of you guys in the chat, when are you moving, or do you not like it? Now, here, Birdie's on the 49ers. 84 Fahrenheit, mostly sunny, 8 miles per hour. Let's get into the line history here in 49ers. Buccaneers. The Buccaneers opened up at -2, and now they're -3. The look ahead was 2. It moved to 2.5 on the look ahead. It opened at 2.5 -120 in the reemergence, and now it's a 3. You can still probably pay for the 2.5. The line makes no sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. But even the Buccaneers line in Seattle was confusing to me with all the injuries they were dealing with. This total is a 47.5. It opened up at the look ahead was 47. It dropped to 46, reemerged at 47. It's climbed a half point to 47.5. When we get to the cash flow in the Tampa Bay, San Francisco, we have 55% of the tickets and 66% of cash on the Niners. How is this all possible? Man, how is this possible? You have Shanny has McVay's number, and yet the idea is that this will just keep happening. And then you have someone as astute and sharp as Birdie, who's on the 49ers. 89% of tickets on the over, 93% cash on the over. Wager says when Tampa Bay gets Evans back and they're healthy, they're going to be good. Look, they look pretty good right now. Now, their defense is questionable, but let's talk about the 49ers. Passing offense, 16th. Rushing offense, 30th. McCaffrey's not getting anything on the ground. Now, he's getting the ball out of the backfield for 85 yards a game. Red zone offense, 28th, 42.1%. Third down offense, 5th at 45.7%. Passing defense, 14th. Rush defense, 18th. Red zone defense, 8th. Third down defense, 5th. Pass rush, 20th. And they have extra rest and prep after that incredible 26-23 overtime victory over the Rams. This is a team that needs it badly. On a short week with no Purdy, no Bosa, who's done for the year, no Kittle, missing their 3 top wide receivers. I mean, it's unbelievable. No Ayuk. He'll be back at some point. No Ayuk, no Pearsall, no Jawan Jennings, and they just keep delivering. It's unbelievable. Mac Jones, 33 of 49 for 342 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Kendrick Bourne caught 10 passes for 142 yards. Christian McCaffrey ran 22 times for 57 yards and caught 8 passes for 82 yards and a touchdown. Vincent Hawkins says Shanny's a better coach than Bowles. No one's going to argue that, I don't think. McCaffrey ran 22 for 57, caught 8 for 82. They were 7 of 18 on third down, but a perfect 3 for 3 on fourth down. They dominated time of possession. When you're playing a better team or a more skilled team, you need to keep the time of possession, dominate time possession. 40 minutes, 4 seconds, 26-20. They were just 2 of 5 in the red zone. The defense bent but didn't break. They allowed 456 yards. Held the Rams to 4 of 10 on third down, 3 of 5 in the red zone. The decimated pass rush was quiet, which it will be for the rest of the year. 1 sack, 2 quarterback hits. San Francisco lost also. So they've already lost a whole bunch of plays. Now they lose their defensive lineman, Kalia Davis. They lose Yetur Gross-Matos. Their rookie backup lineman, Alfred Collins, made the biggest play of the night. Recovered Williams fumbled the goal line with 105 left in regulation. They just keep delivering. It's now Gross-Matos did injure his hamstring in the second half and didn't return. Davis broke his hand. Kalia Davis broke his hand in the first half. Cornerback Upton Stout sidelined late with an ankle injury. And so these 49er pass defense, according to PFF, is graded 14th in the NFL. The Buccaneers, passing offense 9th, rushing offense 21st, red zone offense 25th, 47.1%, third down offense 11th at 41.5%, passing defense 18th, rush defense 10th, red zone defense 29th. Buccaneers are allowing touchdowns on 71.4% of red zone opportunities, third down defense 15th, pass rush 17th. 889 combined yards in that 38-35 victory at Seattle. Baker Mayfield was 29 of 33 for 379 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. 87.9% completion percentage, the highest of any quarterback in a game this season. Egbuka caught 7 for 163 yards and touchdown, leads all rookies with 445 receiving yards. Cade Otton caught 4 passes for 81. With Bucky Irving out with shoulder and ankle injuries, Rashad White ran 14 times for 41 and 2 touchdowns while catching 4 passes for 30 yards. The offense was 7 of 11 on third down, 4 of 6 in the red zone. The defense just dealing with a litany of injuries. They allowed the Seahawks to go 7 of 10 on third and fourth down and put up 8.6 yards per play. They allowed the Seahawks to go perfect 4 for 4 in the red zone, and they still get the W. The pass rush was non-existent. 0 sacks, 2 quarterback sacks. 0 sacks, 2 quarterback hits. Levante David had a massive interception with a minute left. Look, I have, as you know, the Buccaneers to win the division, which is great, but I mean, it's just a plus 100 spot. And I want more, Troy. And I don't understand quite. Maybe you can help me understand, why a capper as sharp and astute as our friend Birdie is thinking that the Buccaneers lose here. It's how could take it away?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I agree. I'm shocked by the line movement. And the line movement, when not in division, is actually favorable for the Buccaneers. Like, I would comfortably, if I was back in the Bucs, I'd be okay with taking a 2.5 and fading that line movement, coming off the 3, seeing value in that move. But I'm kind of shocked to see the number in the first place. I mean, you got 2 teams that are 4-1, 2 teams that could easily be 1-4. The difference between the 2 teams is the 49ers have had a much easier strength of schedule. And it really is. It's the Baker Mayfield effect. Like, nowadays, you're winning games because of Baker, not in spite of Baker. And if I had to poke holes in Baker Mayfield's performances, and I'm going to reach deep here, his turnover-worthy play rate's the highest in his career, and I think it's because he's feeling like Superman right now. And if you're fading the Bucs, it's because you're fading the magical unicorn fairy dust that we've seen with this Baker Mayfield guy, and he just continues to deliver. The other thing, so turnover-worthy plays, and if I had to point something else out, it would be the highest percentage of throws, 20-plus yards downfield by a wide margin, and all over, like from the left side to the right side, he's elite. He's throwing the ball downfield at the best, the most accurate, and not putting the ball in harm's way downfield, that is. He's also very effective in the short passing game, less than 10 yards, but where he struggles is the intermediate portion of the field, where he's 30th in passer rating, 27th in PFF grade, and 30th in completion percentage. And if I were a defense, I'd be playing cover 3 or cover 4 with hard flats and hard hook zones, underneath hook zones, and deep thirds, deep quarters, right? Force Baker Mayfield in that intermediate portion of the field. And actually, in theory, that's where the 49ers defense should thrive, because all of their linebackers grade out pretty damn well in coverage, specifically Fred Warner, who's first in coverage grade as a linebacker per PFF. I mean, the 49ers team has been a fade in my book. I wanted to fade them. I think they have the most fraudulent record in the NFL right now. And I think that mostly due to injuries, I want to fade them, right? No Bosa, no Pearsall, no Ayuk. Like, you go down the line. No Purdy, Mac Jones, however, is having a career season thus far. Look at all of his metrics: turnover-worthy play rate, pressure to sack rate, passer rating, touchdown interception, yards per attempt. They're all his career best, and it's thanks to Shanny. Will it continue? I'm not very certain about that. This matchup is a little bit confusing because you can go two different directions, in my opinion. It comes down to, will the 49ers be able to finally run the ball? I don't think so. It's the Bucs' strong suit defensively. I think that favors the Bucs, but the Bucs do run zone coverage and zone blitz at the highest rate in the NFL by far. Allows for short passing, screen game to thrive, and that favors the 49ers because we know Shanny. We know that's where CMC eats, and we know that's where Mac Jones is comfortable. I'm going to let this market develop before I make any moves. I really had no lean, but I do lean towards the Bucs, especially if we can get 2.5s.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we don't think Purdy is going to play. Ayuk, although can come back now, is not. So it is possible. I mean, at this point, it's Tungus, Kendrick Bourne, and Demarcus Robinson. I mean, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. They're expecting Kittle to come back in week 7 against the Falcons. So this is just all. So now, could Pearsall come back? Yes.
I agree with Johnny Guns. A last-minute drive where the Bucs are down 6 and they score a touchdown. Yeah, I can see it already. They win by 1.
Huh. Yeah, maybe. God, 49ers undefeated on the road. Extra rest, prep time. Birdie saying that Salah saw what the Seahawks and McDonald did wrong. I mean, I guess I could just move on in the futures market and just kind of leave it alone. If Tampa Bay gets healthy, it's just Baker. I mean, I just can't believe what we're seeing from him.
I get concerned with their defense. I do, because a good quarterback should be able to dice up that double mug look, which is where they're creating all their turnovers, their sacks on third down. That's my concern. Bulls defense.
Yeah, and I mean, even if they could get some reinforcements here, but Kalijah Cansey, I mean, they're hoping he comes back for the playoffs. That's it. So the only person who could help the defense is Jamal Dean, who's listed as questionable. Okay, lots to think about. Okay. Maybe I want to have the Bucs futures in my pocket at some point. And maybe you could just bet the futures and not bet the individual game. Dougie White says if Jennings and Pearsall are back, he will be on the Niners.
I want to see Pearsall back because he stretches the defense. Not like Mac Jones will be really able to take advantage of it, but maybe.
Let's roll on to our Sunday Nighter live stream right here on Pub Sports Radio. Detroit Lions, we got beauty on our hands. Detroit Lions 4-1, 2-1 on the road. The Kansas City Chiefs 4-1. Oh no, that's did their record twice. I know that they're 2-3. Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. At this point, and it can change and likely will, obviously, but 78 Fahrenheit, light rain, 12 miles per hour winds. Passing offense. Oh, let's get into the line history here for Lions Chiefs. This one's going to be very, very fun. This total is a 52.5, Troy. The look ahead was 49. Reemerges on Sunday night, 7:53 p.m. at 50. The initial move is down to 49.5 into 49. And then on Monday at 6:23 p.m. it starts exploding. And it doesn't stop. And now we're at 52.5. Which just, it's sharp money. I mean, it's just not public rec cash moving it. We also know there's limits. So curious to figure out how much is being put down on these spots. The look ahead was the Chiefs -1. Then it opens up for us Monday morning at 7:30 at a 1, just where the look ahead was. It drops to a pick 'em, and then Chiefs money starts rolling in. Now we have a 2.5, a juice to the Chiefs. So we just saw this when they destroyed the Ravens, and whether if Lamar Jackson had stayed healthy, they were going to destroy the Ravens. Londo says Kansas City 1-4 against spread in the last 5 games against an NFC opponent. And Chosen One talking about Lions being down both starting corners. Brady says this game is the one that's been bugging me the most. Line movement's all about the secondary injuries on the Lions, but at what point is this an overreaction? Take a look at the cash flow. 88. Just changed. 91% of the tickets. 93% of the cash on the Detroit Lions. So it's just the injury news that's changing the models.
Well, what that's going to change, man. That's definitely going to change here with the Chiefs. It's going to change, but I'm not that much. I don't think. Yeah, it's definitely not ending up in over 80%. I guarantee it. I guarantee it won't end up at over 80%.
But if it was at 74% of the tickets and 80% of the cash, I mean that's still a pretty public spot
for sure. I think it falls more into the 56%, 60, 55 to 70 range.
89% of the tickets, 91% cash on the over. Man, Bear, Pig looking at Chiefs money line. Here we go. Detroit Lions passing offense ranked 14th. Rushing offense just ranked 18th. The red zone offense, so spectacular, ranked 3rd. Cashing touchdown 76% of the time. Third down offense 19th. Converting 39.3% of the time. Not nearly as strong as what we're used to from the Detroit Lions. But their defense has stepped up in certain spots. Their pass defense is 4th. Their rush defense is 5th. PFF rankings. Red zone defense is 25th. Poor. They're allowing touchdowns 66.7% of the time. Third down defense 19th. Allowing conversions 40.7% of the time. And their pass rush, as we have seen, is ranked 2nd. They come in off an easy 37-24 victory at Cincinnati, up 28-3 going into the 4th. Goff was 19-23 for 258 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He did lose a fumble. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 8 catches for 100 yards, and Sammy Laporta had 5 catches for 92 yards and a touchdown. Shout out to our guy, Salty Pete, who gave out the Sammy Laporta touchdown at plus 225 on NFL Pub-Up. Montgomery ran for a touchdown, threw for one on a trick play. That's the second time that Montgomery has had a passing and rushing touchdown in an NFL game. And he got to play at home, and it was a big deal because he was playing for his older sister Kiki, who was paralyzed in that February 2024 car crash. He greeted his sister before he took the field, and it meant a lot to him to be in Cincinnati. He did play quarterback, Cincinnati Mount Healthy High School, and was the Division III Ohio Player of the Year in 2015. It was a big deal for him. Jahmyr Gibbs also scored for the Lions. That was another bet that was given out on our show, was Gibbs and Montgomery, both Sonic and Knuckles, both to score touchdowns. It's the 14th time these two guys have scored a touchdown in the same game. So they have tied Emmitt Smith and Daryl Johnston for the most in NFL history. They're going to beat that soon. They went 5 of 6 in the red zone. The defense completely shut down the Bengals until garbage time. Second-ranked pass rush, finished with 2 sacks. Did have 9 quarterback hits. Got interceptions from Alex Anzalone, Meek Robertson, and Kirby Joseph. And wide receiver Khalif Raymond suffered a neck injury, didn't return, and left tackle Taylor Decker was an active shoulder injury. We'll see what happens in the Wednesday injury report. Then we get into these Chiefs. So I watched that interception today, Troy, about 8 times. 8 or 9 times. And it was 100% Mahomes' fault. All he had to do was just lift it a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. Wide receiver was wide open. There was nobody within 12 feet. But he didn't. He didn't lift it. He didn't lead the receiver. It brought back memories of Russell Wilson. It was in the Super Bowl. And it affected me. Passing offense 19th. The Chiefs rushing offense 15th. Red zone offense 16th. Third down offense 11th. It's not very good. Pass defense is first, but their rush defense is 29th. Red zone defense 16th. Third down defense 13th. Pass rush just 24th. Not a very good football team statistically, but we know what they're capable of. And they're on a short week after that 31-28 loss to Jacksonville. They had won 23 straight games when leading by 14. They outgained the Jags 476 to 319 in the loss. Mahomes was 29 of 41 for 318 yards, touchdown, and a very costly interception that was returned 99 yards for a game-changing touchdown by Devin Lloyd. Tyquan Thornton led receivers with 3 catches for 90 yards. It is over 13.5 yards. Two catched very quickly. Travis Kelce caught 7 for 61 touchdown. Xavier Worthy had 6 catches for 42 yards before re-injuring his ankle. He stayed in the game, and he's not on the injury report. The Chiefs were 4-5 in the red zone, yet could not get the win. The defense couldn't get stops with the game on the line. Allowed the Jags to go 3 of 4 in the red zone. Scored a game-winning touchdown with 23 seconds left. The Chiefs finished with 3 sacks and 8 quarterback hits. McDuffie had an interception, and cornerback Christian Fulton was inactive with an ankle injury. Brady says that's the thing here. With the money, even with the injuries, it should not be moving this aggressively towards the Chiefs. This game screams Kansas City or nothing, and I'm having a hard time comprehending that. Troy Torrence, the floor is yours, my friend. Can't wait. Can't fucking wait for Sunday night to be rocking with you on a live stream. Take it away.
All right. I got to start this cap with I despise the Kansas City Chiefs, and they just hurt me pretty damn bad, cut me real deep. So take everything I say for a grain of salt because I'm clearly biased in this game. Or at least that's my perception of myself. But I'm going to start with this about the market. You know, home teams that close -2.5 or -3, between 2.5 and 3, is pretty much a 50-50 proposition when the line's moving towards the home team. It's pretty much 50-50 on the spread. Now, that flips a little when it gets to 3. A lot of times when it gets to 3, it's moved too much, and there's a little bit of value on the road team. But what about this cash flow situation? And I've talked about it. Home teams that close 2.5 or 3 after move towards them with 60% plus of bets, 60% or more of bets on the road team. Now that road team is cashing 13-7 ATS, 12-8 straight up, and only one time has either 80% or more of the cash been on the road team, or 80% or more of the bets have been on the road team, and they blew them out by almost 30 points, 28-point win. So I'm not scared necessarily of the cash flow. I think it's going to come down significantly from this spot, but I'm not putting a lot of equity in this market alone, in this market at all, to be honest, because I do think it's going to change quite drastically before kickoff. Lions offense, I think the offensive line's improving every single week. Goff's putting up slightly better numbers than last season, which is a career best. Completion percentage, touchdown, turnover worthy plays, passer rating, whatever you want to look at. And they're still capable of running the ball, even when winning by margin. And when the defense should, in theory, be ready for it. The defense, I am worried about the corner situation, certainly. But Terrion Arnold, he was terrible even before he got injured. And this is by far, even without those two guys, the best defense under Dan Campbell. The front seven is absolutely elite. You got Hutch and Reeder opening the door for a guy like Muhammad to thrive. You got elite linebackers because you got Campbell, who's elite against the run, and you got Anzalone, who's elite in coverage. You got the two best safety duo, the best safety duo in the NFL, and the cornerback with these injuries is definitely a problem. But this is one of the best football teams in the NFL in the Lions. I believe that. The offense for the Chiefs, it's been pretty impressive the past 2 weeks, and I think the offensive line is middle of the pack, way too many penalties, but better than they were last year, in my opinion. And Mahomes, who's the football version of Jesus Christ, has become more susceptible to mistakes over the past few years. I think this team's talent been falling off, and it's kind of reflecting in his numbers. The weapons, I mean, they look much better with Worthy in the lineup. I'm not going to lie. I'm not really concerned about this Chiefs offense, especially in this matchup. I am concerned about this Chiefs defense because the major issue with this defense, in my opinion, is going to be able to stop the run. Now, they did a fine job against the Jaguars in terms of stopping the run, kept my prop under its total, right? The rushing prop with ETN. But there's a huge problem here because what happened when they stopped the run? They got exploited down the field. They got exploited by through other various ways for the offense, right? So they commit too many assets. Why do they have to commit more assets than they used to? Because Chris Jones, he has the worst run grade in his career by far. He's posted a 43.7 run D grade. 31-year-old phenom, he's regressing. And that means you have to allocate more assets to stop the run. and that weakens the coverage. So, I mean, it's a pretty confusing spot. You got a 2-3 team favored against a 4-1 team. Now, the Chiefs have a huge name brand, and obviously that comes with some weight on the spread. The Chiefs coming off a loss where they should have won. So the Lions coming off 4 straight wins, and the Lions open against the Chiefs is favorite. Like, or, open as dogs against the Chiefs. Like, all the action, I don't know. It's a very tough spot. Like, I'm very confused looking at the market. So I haven't moved on this game yet, but I want to be on the Lions in this game. So I'm only looking towards the Lions, and I'm going back to fading this Chiefs team.
Do you agree with this move to the over?
Yes, I do. I mean, it's hard to make a case for the defenses. And when you see these totals start flying towards the over, pretty sure it's worked out successfully in the past. Now, I haven't spent too much time with the totals because, they just cut me deep. So, but I do agree with the over. The move to the over, I should say.
So what are you exactly hoping to see in this market? Why are you not moving on it now? Like, what's the script?
I don't have a great answer. I really don't have a great answer. I'm just shocked by the market itself. I'm shocked to see the Chiefs 2.5. I'm shocked to see the market moving their way. I'm shocked to see all the cash and the money right now. I think that comes back.
It's a similar thing to Birdie where you just need time to kind of.
Yeah, I need time, especially after what happened last night.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. You just I get that. God, the move to the Chiefs in the market is bullish. The move to the over is bullish. And so basically you're saying, at least with the side, you don't know how you could go up against this blatant move against the public that may be based on the two corners for the Lions.
Yeah, I just don't. That's right. I don't know if I have the conviction yet in this week. I don't know why. Like, it's not going to get better than 2.5, 3. I mean, maybe I get a 3. I guess if it drops, I'll just take the money line. I'm going to be on the Lions. I don't know why I'm sitting around pussyfooting.
Troy is going to be on the Lions. It's total up to 52.5. I mean, just hearing that number on a Sunday night standalone game makes me want to bet the under, but I'm not going to get in the way of this move. This is a pretty monstrous move with limits.
So the Chiefs have been a home team with the spread less than 3 7 times since 2022. 7 times. They're only 3-4 ATS, 3-4 straight up. How many times does that market move towards the home team? Only once out of 7 games. It's moved once. They won that game by 17 points. They beat the Ravens. They beat the Ravens in week 4. As dogs. They were dogs in that spot, but still under 3.
Vincent says that you're waiting on the public to bet the Chiefs. Well, that wouldn't make that much sense because then there would be legitimacy to the market move. I think that would that make it more comfortable for you then if a bunch of action came in on the Chiefs and be like, okay, well, that's why, the move was set up. The move is being legitimized. And at this point, with 90% of the tickets and cash on the Lions, you see no legitimacy, and that makes you uncomfortable to move on them?
Yes.
All right. That is our Sunday nighter, 52.5, Chiefs minus 2.5. We'll see how this marinates for the next little while. Gorky, very confident on the Lions here. So that is our Sunday nighter. Let's roll on to our Monday double dip, another double header here on Pub Sports Radio for our live streams. We start on Monday, October 13th, 7:15 p.m. Eastern. Buffalo Bills 4-1, 1-0 on the road. 4 home games for the Bills through their first 5 games. At the Atlanta Falcons coming up their bye, 2-2, 1-1 at home. Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's get into the line history here for our Monday nighter. We have the Buffalo Bills -4. The look ahead was 5, and that was bet down to 4 before bouncing back up to 4.5, and then 5.5. This was a 5.5. It actually closed at 5, and it was just minus 102 for the Bills. So it basically closed the look ahead where it opened, basically. And then it reemerges. It reemerges on Sunday at what time? Reemerged really early, didn't it? On Sunday, it reemerged at 4:10 a.m. on Sunday as a 4.5. Then it goes to 4, then to 3.5. Clearly moving towards the Falcons, and it gets back to the Bills. You could have got the Bills on Monday night at 5:42, minus 3.5 for the pick'em. Now it's minus 4 at minus 115. So very interesting market moves here. Let's get to this total. The total right now is at a 49.5. The look ahead was a 50. Then it comes out on Saturday morning at 10:26 at a 50.5. And I guess that would have been probably the closing before the reemergence. So it opened up, the look ahead was 50, drops down to 49.5, goes to 50.5. And then it reemerges on Monday morning at 9:30 at 49, drops down to 48.5. You could have got the over 48.5, juice to the under. Could have got the over 48.5 Monday morning, minus 105 to the over. Now it's juice to the over at 49.5. Let's get to the cash flow here for the Monday nighter. 59% of the tickets on the Bills, 51% of the cash, 93% of tickets and 92% of cash on the over. An alarming amount of money on the over. Vincent Hawkins looking at the Falcons team total over. AM says the Bills can't stop the damn run. Dougie Wise says, I think the Bills could be in trouble here. Coin says, I like Atlanta here. Falcons run game should do damage. Gorky, though, says the Bills team total over 28.5 is a gift.
Gork loves his Bills, man.
So the Buffalo Bills passing offense ranked 6th. Rushing offense ranked 4th. Red zone offense 14th. Third down offense 7th. Passing defense, rush defense is terrible. PFF has them graded 25th, pass defense 27th, rush defense, red zone defense 16th. They allow touchdowns 60% of the time. Third down defense 19th, allowing conversions 40.7% of the time. Pass rush ranked 8th. Bills coming off having their 14-game home winning streak snapped and suffered their first loss of the season, 23-20 at home to the Patriots. Josh Allen was 22 of 31 for 253 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He also rushed 9 times for 53 yards and committed a costly fumble. Birdie says, everything in me wants to take Atlanta here. I'm not betting against Allen in a dome. I think the over makes great sense because Allen just destroys totals in a dome. AM says, Bills run defense success rate is so bad. WY says, I see the Falcons running all over them. So Josh Allen, very angry, but it wasn't just him. He committed a costly fumble. He threw an interception. Keon Coleman also committed a fumble. Dalton Kincaid led receivers with 6 catches for 108 yards. Cook was limited to 49 yards on 15 carries, held under 100 yards from scrimmage for the first time this season, and his streak of 8 games, his franchise record streak of 8 games with a rushing touchdown was snapped. The Bills were 5-9 on third down, but just 2 of 4 in the red zone, and they were limited to scoring 20 or fewer points for just the 4th time since the start of 2024. The defense did enough to get them the win. The Bills' pass rush had 4 sacks and 8 quarterback hits. This pass rush is ranked 8th. I did not expect that. They held the Patriots to 3-9 on third down, 2 of 4 in the red zone. Matt Milano did return, and then he left again, aggravating the pectoral injury that forced him to miss the previous 2 games. And Ed Oliver missed his 4th straight game with a sprained ankle. The Falcons coming off their bye week. Last seen in that 34-27 home victory over the Commanders that was much more dominant than the score gave them credit for. Do you mind looking up the score, the sound, the noise? Yeah. Sorry, the noise score for that one, because to me, it felt like a dominant, like I was on the Falcons, obviously, first half full game, but it felt like a dominant victory. There was never 1 second where I was concerned at all.
That was week 4, right?
That was week 4. Yes.
That was that week. I had mentioned that one, 33-21 Commanders.
That's more like it. Falcons. Yeah, that's more like it. This passing offense ranked 25th, but Penix started rolling against the Commanders. Rushing offense ranked 9th. Red zone offense 26th. They're only scoring touchdowns 46.2% of the time. Their third down offense ranked 10th. converting 41.8% of the time. Pass defense ranked 13th. Rush defense ranked 19th. Red zone defense 25th. But third down defense is 6th. They're allowing conversions only 34.1% of the time. Their pass rush has been a problem, ranked 21st. So, yes, that victory against Commanders came on the heels of a 30-0 loss at Carolina. So, they get the bye week. They get the bye week off of career best performance by Michael Penix, a career best performance from Bijan Robinson. And they put up 435 total yards. Before Washington came to Atlanta, Penix had not thrown a touchdown to a wide receiver or tight end in this full season. Not one. Number 8 pick in the 2024 draft did end that drought. He threw TD passes to Pitts and London. Bijan Robinson rushed for 75 yards and a touchdown, added 4 catches for 106 yards, 181 yards from scrimmage. Tyler Algier ran for 51 and a touchdown. They set a season high for yardage. Penix was 20-26, 313 yards, 2 touchdowns. They are riding high, but the Bills are angry. Troy Torrence, take it away.
I absolutely love this spot. I'm thinking about going for multiple units here. I think the matchup looks incredible for the Falcons. I actually like where the market sits, despite the Falcons coming off a win, the Bills coming off a loss, and the Falcons are coming off extended time and rest to prepare for this game. They just watched, and they're able to get a head start on executing or preparing a game plan for Josh Allen off of what they just seen on Sunday Night Football. The Bills coming off its first loss after 3 consecutive home games. You rarely see a team coming off of 3 consecutive home games. I think they're trying to force these Bills to play home games earlier in the season because we know that the weather gets terrible later in the season. The Bills had the second easiest strength of schedule season to date. And in all honesty, I mean, how many of those wins were really convincing? One of them versus the Jets. The Bills' weakness, we already know this, defensively, it's the small front seven. The Falcons have a top 10 O-line and D-line, or run block and pass block, and we know they want to run the football. The Bills' run D is 28th in the NFL per PFF. It's noticeable in every metric. So you don't even have to just consider PFF. You can look all around the board. The Falcons' defense is underrated, in my opinion. They've proven they can stop the run versus competent rushing attacks like Bucky Irving, only allowing 2.6 yards per carry. Now they need to focus on preparing for a quarterback that could scramble because they really haven't had a big dose of that this season. And I think they're going to come in prepared after seeing what the Patriots did to them. They have some dogs on the defensive front with a high ceiling, very young athletic players, and they have a perfect spy for Josh Allen and Diablo. The market's pretty neutral. It's not the 3.5 type of situation. And I don't think this is a bounce back spot for Buffalo. I believe this team is overrated. I think the air got let out of the balloon a little bit. And I believe in this Falcons team and Penix. I believe in Penix. I love his spray chart. And that's one thing I'm going to have to get you to latch onto a little bit because, Penix spray chart is very similar to Stafford. I like Stafford, who I compare. I always go back and reference how are these guys compare to Stafford, who I think is well balanced. And yeah, I'm on the Falcons plus 4.5, and I'm considering some money line action as well.
Wow. It's
true, Birdie.
From an X's and O's point, I agree completely. I just, me, I can't sell the Bills low. I don't want to sell any team low. So, but I agree that this is probably too many points. But probably too many points. So what did you get on the Falcons?
Falcons plus 4.5 minus 105.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Okay. Troy, moving on, the Falcons, what do you think of the total? 49.5.
I think it's too high. I would want to be betting unders in this game. I think the Bills' offense, if you really focus on stopping the run, I mean, they don't have a lot of vertical threats down the field. There's ways you could attack this offense.
All right. That is game one of our Monday night doubleheader. Let's go into the final spot on the board for us. 8:15 p.m. Eastern. Chicago Bears, second half of the Monday double dip. 2-2, 1-1 on the road, coming off their bye week at the Washington Commanders. 3-2, 2-0 at home, Northwest Stadium in Landover, Maryland. We have 61 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 10-mile-per-hour winds on Monday night. This total is a 50. The look ahead was 50.5. It came out 1:05 a.m. Monday morning at 49.5. Climbed up to 50. A half-point move since it reemerged. A half-point move to the under from the look ahead. On the point spread, we have the Commanders minus 4.5, minus 109. The look ahead was 5, and then it opened up again at 105 at 4. Came back up to 5, dropped to 4.5. Let me also reiterate, the biggest bet that I made all year was on the Commanders, and it really had almost nothing to do with the Commanders. I wasn't betting on the Commanders at all. In fact, the Commanders made me uncomfortable. I was purely fading the Chargers. From a cash flow standpoint, 84% of the tickets are on the Commanders and 77% of the cash is on the Commanders. Vincent Hawkins liking the over in this one. Let's talk about the Bears first. Coming in off their bye week, passing offense ranked 11th, rushing offense ranked 19th, which is a bit of a surprise. Red zone offense 14th, catching touchdown 63.6% of the time. Third down offense 6th, converting 45.5% of the time. Pass defense ranked 19th, rush defense ranked 28th, red zone defense ranked 23rd. And their third down defense has been very stout. They're only letting teams convert 29.3% of the time. Their pass rush, though, ranked 22nd. They were last seen winning their second straight game, 25-24 at Vegas. It's a win that looks worse after the Raiders lose 40-6 at Indianapolis last week. And it came on the heels of an impressive 31-14 win over Dallas, which probably looks better now, in which Williams tied a career high with 4 touchdown passes, and Ben Johnson got his first win as an NFL coach. So now he has 2. They're on a 2-game winning streak. And looking at how the season started, they're in a great spot. They blew an 11-point lead in prime time against Minnesota, and then they got destroyed 52-21 by the Lions. That matched a franchise record for points allowed, and that was Johnson's return to Detroit. So the offensive line is the problem. They, rebuilt it in the offseason. They traded for Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson. They signed Drew Dahlman. But things changed. Last time we saw them, Braxton Jones was pulled in the second quarter. And in came Theo Benedett, who, Susie Easton here, Theo Benedett, UBC Thunderbird, Canadian college offensive lineman, made his first career start, moved from right tackle to the left side. Then they had rookie Ozzie Trapilo, came in at right tackle, played 40 snaps because Darnell Wright missed the game because of an elbow injury. This is a mess here. Jones wasn't announced as a left tackle until the week leading up to the opener. He was competing in training camp with Trapilo, Benedett, and Amagaji. So, Trapilo really shut down Max Crosby and kind of changed the plan. I guess it confirmed that he's going to be a right tackle rather than a left tackle. Wright has been used on the right side since the Bears drafted him 10th overall in 2023. But if they want to play him and Trapilo together, they might have to switch him to the left. So there's a lot of movement happening on the offensive line. They're trying to figure it out. They are not, run blocking well. The Bears' rush attack is terrible. 3.8 yards per carry. They're not getting anything from DeAndre Swift. He's averaging 3.3 yards per carry. Not only are the Bears not running the ball, but they're not defending the run. The Vegas Raiders put up 240 yards against them. That's the most that the Bears had given up on the road since 2022. So the Bears have confidence, but there's still a lot of question marks around how good this team is. And they are facing the Commanders, who I would love to sell high here. That 27-10 victory was because the Chargers are a fucking mess. And I've been trying to tell everybody that. The Commanders have some nice stats. Passing offense ranked 4th. Rushing offense ranked 2nd. Red zone offense ranked 6th. Third down offense, though, 29th. Their pass defense is the worst ranked defense in the National Football League. Herbert doesn't have a second in front of that offensive line, holds on to the ball for too long. Herbert, by the way, holds on to the ball 6th longest of any NFL quarterback, but those other NFL quarterbacks have offensive lines protecting them. Rush defense ranked 2nd. Red zone defense 15th, third down defense 16th, pass rush 11th. Commanders coming off that impressive 27-10 victory at the Chargers, and you guys know what I think about that. I don't know. Jaden Daniels is born and raised 75 miles away from SoFi in San Bernardino. It was his first game in front of friends and family in LA, and he went 15-26 for 231 yards and touchdown, ran 8 times for 39 yards in his first appearance since missing 2 games with a knee injury. Became the first quarterback to rush for 1,000+ yards in 20 games or less in NFL history. Debo caught 8 for 96 in the touchdown. Of course, Terry McLaurin was out. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt looked great. Ran 14 times for 111 yards, caught 2 for 39. Did lose a fumble. The offense was just 3 and 8 on 3rd and 4th down, but they put up 7.1 yards per play and went 3 of 5 in the red zone. The defense was strong against the Charger offense that I contend is so much worse than the market understands. The pass rush looked good against a ravaged Charger offensive line. 5 sacks, 9 quarterback hits, but do we trust that? Sanders still had an interception. Chargers went 9 of 16 on 3rd down, but were just 1 of 2 in the red zone. I would like nothing more than to fade the Commanders here, but I don't know what the hell the Bears are, Troy. Can you help me understand who the hell the Bears are?
No, I'm struggling with the same thing. And this matchup just takes me back to the deepest cut I've ever had.
Oh, yeah.
$1,000 parlay loses on a Hail Mary in the final seconds just as we open our live stream. I'm all hunky-dory. And seconds later, I'm absolutely devastated in shambles. I do think the Bears are better this year than they were last year. I think they're significantly better than they were last year. And I think part of that is because of Ben Johnson. I'm talking offensively right now because Caleb Williams showing improvement across the board. PFF grade, 240 play, passer rating, big time throw percentage, yards per attempt, pressure to sack rate, which is the most important to me, down from 28% to 14%. He's now, pushing towards the top of the charts as it comes to pressure to sack, and I think that's impressive. I also think the offensive line has improved drastically. The only element we haven't seen is a quality run game, and that's very unfortunate. But at the same time, it's not like that's how you want to attack this Commanders team. You want to attack their secondary. So it's not like I necessarily hate that they can't run the football in this matchup specifically, because I do think they're going to be able to move the ball through the air. I also think the Bears defense has been far worse. So as much, the offense has looked significantly better, but the defense has looked significantly worse. Another team that we could kind of count for regression, but they do get Kyler Gordon back, who I think is the team's second best defensive player. They also get their best linebacker back in TJ Edwards, who's essential in this game to help spy and contain Jane Daniels. And they have a healthy Brisker coming in at safety. There's a lot of reasons to think this defense takes a step forward. Another week under Dennis Allen, who showed that he could get off man coverage. He finally made the move in the second half of the Cowboys game. And that makes me bullish on this defense a little bit, like they might be a little bit undervalued. And we all know this Commanders team, my thoughts on this, they crushed that Chargers team that was in a dire position. They won that game 27-10 with the noise adjusted score 24-21. If that roughing the kicker doesn't happen, who knows what happens in that situation. The Commanders' offense, solid. I'm not going to change my outlook on this offense. I think it's going to be a good offense, plenty of weapons, a coordinator and a quarterback that can scheme around bad offensive line play, but the offensive lines look pretty damn good. It's the Commanders' defense that I really want to fade, a completely exploitable defense, a team that struggles to make tackles, grades out towards the bottom of the league. The coverage unit, the worst in the league by a sizable margin. And the pass rush, you can go back and forth. They've had their days, but most of those days were versus bad opponents or one matchup that was getting exploited. They're 17th in the NFL right now in terms of allowing or, realizing pressure on defense. I think Ben Johnson is going to probably be able to target this secondary. They have a plethora of weapons. I expect the defense to be significantly improved with players returning. And I'm praying we see less man coverage, especially versus a mobile quarterback. So I did move on the Bears plus 4.5. I got both dogs on Monday Night Football, both at 4.5. And I also got that one at minus 105. And I did move. I had to add another unit to my Falcons and my Browns. We'll talk about that when we wrap it up.
I love it. I love it because the Chargers, as they are right now, are a 4-win or 5-win team. They're nowhere close to the playoffs. And people just don't understand that yet. And the 27-10 score we can abuse. And everybody's going to be on the Commanders. Public's going to be all over the Commanders. It's so funny because nobody wanted to touch them last week. And now everybody's going to be on them this week. It's the perfect spot to take advantage of, and I'm going to do that with you. Now, what do you expect this line to close at?
I think it's going to close in this range, 4.5. And I'd like to see that the 4s are still available, or, there's more 4s at the sharper shops than there is at the public shops. Just look at 4.5. That tells me that's another good sign I'm paying attention to. I think we close around this 4.
See, this is the wheelhouse for me to double down with the team total over. When I have a dog at this price, I know that, that I can abuse what everybody saw last week. Does that interest you at all, around a 20.5 or a 21?
Yes. Yes, it does.
I think it's a perfect way of doubling down.
Is that where it is? Is that the line right now?
It's kind of a mess right now. 365 won't give you where the line should be, and it should be at 21.5. They're taking advantage of this. So what they're offering now, I would bet it somewhere else, but they're offering an over 20.5 at minus 140, or an over 23.5 at plus 120. I can get it at a different book.
I'm interested in doubling down on this game.
I like it too.
Not a surprise, being that it's going to be on prime time, so we have a lot of time to kind of sit with it.
But I know it's so funny. There's so much in this card I don't know. But there's only one thing that I know, and you guys know what it is. It's the fucking Chargers are trash, and nobody seems to understand it. Nobody seems to get it. And I keep saying it over and over again, and people are like, no, you're wrong. And that's magic. And now we have to take advantage. Now we get to take advantage of the Commanders due to it. Because honestly, this past week, the Titans would have beaten the Chargers. I mean, who's your worst team in the league? The Panthers would have gone in and beaten the Chargers.
And now they have to go on the road and play in Miami. It's the only reason I'm not on it. You're the only reason I'm not on that Charger spot right now.
Oh, it's just fucking heaven. Absolute heaven.
And that says a lot. That says a lot, man. That says a lot that I'm staying off that spot. That's props to you. And I don't know if I would give anybody as much credit as I just gave you, because I'm dead ass serious. You're the only reason I have not moved on the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care as much about saving you money as I'd prefer to make you money. But if it's just saving money, then it is what it fucking is, I guess.
I gotta just do it then, huh? Just pull the trigger. I'm
No,
taking a bunch of 4.5.
Just
taking
live,
a bunch of 4.5. So let me just load up on the 4.5.
just fucking live through me. We'll go out for steaks in San Antonio. The fucking fade the Chargers will pay for all of it. I'm going to join you on the Bears plus 4.5. All right, it's been a long show. Thank you guys for rocking with us. It takes a ton of work to succeed, and I expect us to do just that. Let's go over action here. I'll quickly hammer it from me. I'm going to join you on the Eagles double result. I'm going to move on that here. I want to be on the Jets plus 7.5. I can't bet that tonight. I'm going to have to build up the confidence to take another fucking Jet bath. I'm interested in the under in Cardinals Colts, and I want to study that a little more. I probably don't move on that tonight. I'm going to add money on the Dolphins. Going to add cash on the Dolphins. Got to figure out how to do that because I have 2 units on the full game now, but I want more. This is an advantage that I don't know if I've ever had before. I really don't know if I've ever been in this position. In my entire life, Kevin football, I never quite felt like this.
I've never seen you like this before.
I know it's so much fun, dude. It's so much fun. Then the under and the Steelers double result I'm looking at. I know you're on the Browns +6. I'll need to study that a little bit more, but I expect to move on that. I don't think I move on the under tonight because that's climbing. I'm going to let that climb, see how if I can get up to a 39. I'm interested in the Panthers. I know you guys like the over. I'll study that a little more. I'm generally not much of an over better. And then we have the Rams. I think they have to be hammered now. If I put 2 units on, let's say if I put unit on the double result and the -7.5, and Lamar comes back and plays, and I lose, I took a risk and I lost, and I'll deal with that. I'm comfortable dealing with that. I think when they announce him out with the bye week next week, it goes to 9.5. Then I respect that you're on the Titans. I can't do it, and I don't know if I want the Raiders. The Packers I expect to use for my survivor, just that. I'm not sure what to do with the Bucs. I need to sit with a lot of you guys who really believe in the 49ers. I should probably wait to see, because it sounds like Pearsall and Jennings are going to be available. Then Lions and Chiefs, we've stayed off. I'm not going to put in too much action tonight. I can't join you on the Falcons, even though the line makes sense. I just can't. I can't sell the Bills low. It's just not how I do things. And then I'm going to join you on the Bears +4.5. Here we go. Troy Torrence, your week 6 action. Troy Torrence right now sitting with an ROI just under 8%, and he's 69 and 57 plus 9.8 units. Take it away.
I would have a much better ROI at my Thursday night football game. Those teasers that I tied all to that Thursday night football game with the public cashes. If that won, it didn't. It lost. But I'm going right back to the well with the Eagles as I tease them now 3 ways. I've added one since we started talking. I couldn't help myself but get on this line some way, shape, or form. So I got the Eagles. I got 3 teasers. Eagles, Colts. So I got the Eagles down to -1. Eagles down to -1 in all these teasers. With the Colts -0.5, with the Seahawks +7.5, and with the Lions +8.5. All of those are -120. I had to move on the Jets. I see a path to success for this football team. And I could see the Broncos letting down overseas, right? That game's overseas. Yes, sir. Jets +7.5, -110. Browns +6, -120. I got 2 units on this play. So I guess I'm forced to put my tail between my legs and add the Browns +5.5 at +100. So I got the Browns +6, -120, and the Browns +5.5 +100. The Seahawks money line +100. The Patriots -3. I might add to that position, -120 at Bet Online. Titans +5.5 at FanDuel. The Falcons +4.5, and I doubled up on that spot too. I did bet 2 units on the 4.5 for the purposes of the show. I moved on the +4 at +100. And then I got the Bears +4.5 with really considering doubling up in that spot. And I still might have some additions from here, and especially in the prop market, which I'm not accustomed to talking about. So next time I'm going to come with a more prepared, highlighted, bolded notes.
Yeah, the Bears team total over. I didn't have that in my notes here. It's so funny, Troy. It's almost like if the Dolphins can screw this up, it'll be good for me to sit down and shut up about it. Like I want to tell everybody I meet about it. Every parent of my children. I'm like, you fading the Chargers this week? Leaving money on the table. I can't stop. It's just I feel like in my entire career I've never been this ahead of the market. That's it. I feel like I'm 3 weeks ahead of the market. That's all. A month ahead of the market. That's all. That's crazy. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to our producer, Jose Bouquet, who works tirelessly behind the scenes. Coin, thank you, my man. Wager Detective, Susie Easton, We Do, Stand On Biz, Donut Silks. Thank you guys for rocking with us. Man, Bear, Pig, DJ, 100 Grand. What a great, great group. Ronnie Crawford, NFL Spreadsheet. Play of the day is the Seattle Seahawks. +1.5. Johnny Guns, D. Jenkins, Strategic Investments, AM Rants, Marked Up Productions, Wager Detective, Vincent Hawkins. Thank you guys so much. The Chosen One, thank you. Thank you guys for your support. Crip Key, thank you guys. Rick T, thank you. Let's go out there and get that cash. Troy Torrence, thank you for all your hard work. Sorry I keep you here for 4 hours for Tuesday night. I hope we bank heavily off of it because you deserve it. Thank you, my friend, for all that you do. Any last words for the Cappers supporting the show?
Yeah. Hub Sports Radio, the best damn community in the industry. It's why I keep coming back. It's why I love this damn community. That's why I'm up here with you, Jimmy the Bag. It's going to be a beautiful week, off a tough week. I truly believe that. And you might have talked me in to backing the Dolphins. I'm just sitting here considering it. I just think I have to ride with you. I have so much faith in you, Jimmy. And we're going to end up in the black when the season's all said and done. So as we finish every show, there's only one thing to do now. Go out there and leche los bookmakers.
Milk that shit.